It has been on occasion.
That's impossible. I never say curse things. Huh. How about that weather, huh?
It's fine over here.
Oh,
Is it like really bad weather over there?
No, I'm just making conversation. Because apparently I've been given a list of things I can talk about. If I stray off that list, I will be killed. I love to take long walks on the beach with my pet dog, if anyone is interested.
That does sound pretty pleasant.
It's okay until some little kid comes up. It's just easier to hide the body.
I knew it. I knew there was gonna be a catch somewhere.
Alright, the chat is now working so we can get away from Daxter potentially murdering children on a beach with his dog. And hello everyone, welcome back to another TTV
I never said
PSN,
how.
PSN fan community game night. I am Prentice1215, once again joined by Loca-Cola.
In Siege, no one can hear you scream because we're not playing that
Thank
freaking
goodness.
game.
And we are also, of course, joined by the potential homicidal maniac, Daxter Corp HD.
I like how it's potential.
Well, you know, it's always potential until there is a guilty verdict in a court of law. So yeah, today we are playing the Haunted Hallows Batman crossover event in Rocket League, which is something. But you know, I thought it'd be a little bit different, and a different change of pace compared to Siege, which we're just kind of fed up with at this point. So
even you say different change of pace, even though we haven't played Siege in like over what half a year?
It's been a while, but if you look at our playlist of all these game nights, about half of them, probably at this point, about half of them are Siege related. So we've played that game a lot. So
we gotta change that up.
So yeah, it is a change of pace. So yeah, let's do this limited time mode, Gotham City Rumble. So yeah, happy Halloween, everyone.
Boo.
Well, I don't think we've actually had a game night on Halloween itself. I meant to check that, but I didn't have time to. We've always played we've always had a game night around Halloween. But I don't think we've had one on Halloween, and I don't think we did one last year on this channel.
Question mark?
No, I don't think we did.
I think we did one in 2019, maybe.
That was Doctor's Curse.
No, that was 2018.
Oh.
No, you're right. Doctor's Curse. Doctor's Curse was 2019. So we did. So yeah, we did it then, and then the year before that we had Halloween parts 1 and 2 because we tried to play a little bit of Dead by Daylight, and we played for 45 minutes, and then one of us had to go, and we no longer had it. Oh my gosh, why is there a tornado? It's Battlefield 2042 up in here.
Oh gosh, it's...
Oh wait,
this
sorry.
is getting out of hand. Dude. There's even 2 of them.
Magnet.
Oh, I see the button for the special ability. I don't know what I activated.
Magnet.
Oh! Oh, it was an insta-kill. That's what it was. Okay.
Insta-kill.
Oh,
Spikes.
and he just drove it right in. Okay.
Good job, team.
I tried.
So,
It was an attempt.
So yeah, so we played Dead by Daylight for a little bit, and then after that we played Worms for a bit, and then 2019 was of course Doctor's Curse. And I don't think last year was spooky enough. We didn't need to do a Halloween, a Halloween game night.
Was anyone even doing? I mean, I guess Warzone was doing a Halloween.
Yeah, Warzone was doing it, but oh, okay, I just poison ivied myself up to it. Oh my god! What the heck? Watch this. I just Spider-Man myself up there and go yoink.
That's illegal. You can't do a Spider-Man thing in the
you're right.
in the Batman event.
Oh, you're
this
totally
the
right.
Batman, or is it just a Batman?
I think it's just Batman in general. If it was sponsorship for the Batman, then
Oh boy.
Then
I'm not liking this.
Then I think they would. I think they would already have the Matt Reeves Batmobile in the shop, and they do not yet. So. So yeah, since it is a spooky day, I wanted to talk about some spooky things.
Uh-oh.
And
what?
And you may be going, ooh, what spooky things? And so I have been playing a couple different games recently. Okay, what is it? I froze the ball! Okay.
What?
So that freezes the ball. Got it. Good to know. So it just holds it in place for you to get a good lineup on it. All right.
Yeah.
So this past week I have been playing 2 different games.
Go! Yo!
Yeah.
Good job.
Warzone.
I thought it was not gonna connect, but it
And
did.
you didn't even have to use any special powers. Good job.
Yeah.
Not that time.
You really are the Batman here because you're the only one not using powers.
The Batman.
Oh,
part
of the lead into this is I had to get a new phone this week because my last phone.
I'm afraid.
Yeah.
My last phone that I just traded in, the battery is starting to go out. Where I would wake up in the morning and by I don't know after an hour of using it I'd be down to 60%. So the battery was going bad. I needed a new phone.
Oh. Wait,
the trade-in value to switch from a iPhone 7 to an iPhone 13 was pretty good. So I now have the latest model of phone, and I hopefully won't have to do another trade-in for like another 3 or 4 years.
2 years, if we're being honest. It's an Apple product.
Well, but the last Apple product I had lasted me like 3.5. So. But that's probably just because of the way I use my devices. I am not on it all day, every day. So they probably lasted a little longer.
No!
Wow, he just threw that right in there. So that probably helps my devices last a little longer. But to put this into perspective, the iPhone 7 has 30 gigabytes of I think 30 gigabytes of storage on it. The iPhone 13 has 130.
Yep.
That's
128. Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's the base.
Yeah.
Still
so
not enough for Warzone, though.
No, still not enough for Warzone. But you know what it is enough for? Call of Duty Mobile.
I freaking knew it.
So
I thought you were gonna say Genshin Impact. So
no, because I had on all this space. I'm like, what am I gonna use? Because I'm like, how am I ever gonna fill up all this space? And I'm like, and so just because just a morbid curiosity, I want to see what this is kind of about. I decided to download Call of Duty Mobile, and I hesitate to call it good, but I also hate to call it horrible. Surprisingly,
yeah, that sounds about right from what I've played of it.
Oh, so you've played it too? That is interesting.
Yeah, I don't remember when it was actually. I've only played it for a little bit. Went, this is fine, and then I just didn't go back to it.
So I wasn't really planning on talking about it here today. It was probably and make like a main topic of discussion. It was just going to be oh yeah, I tried Call of Duty Mobile for a little bit, and then I thought that was going to be it. But then I discovered something.
Genshin Impact.
No, I was about to say I'm not going to play Chinese trash like that. But ironically, Call of Duty Mobile is developed by a Chinese team, or at least at the very least they're owned by Tencent. So,
Yo.
Wait,
so
how did that happen?
What, that or the... You were the last
Okay.
one on our team to make contact with it.
Okay,
Yeah.
That explains it.
So, a couple of weeks ago, we were playing the Vanguard beta, and Daxter and I got into a little bit of an argument. And this was a
COD Cinematic Universe.
yes. This
It's
is
not a real thing.
The COD Cinematic Universe isn't real. It can't hurt you.
Oh.
COD Cinematic Universe exists.
yes, because
It's not a real thing.
So the COD Cinematic Universe may not be a real thing yet. That is still something that we are hypothesizing about. We'll see if it does become a real thing. However, the Call of Duty comic universe is indeed a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because in Call of Duty Mobile there is a battle pass. And with this battle pass comes a comic that is unlocked day to day, or not day to day. It's like every other day while the battle pass is active. And so there is a comic story to go along with the battle pass in Call of Duty Mobile. And it's bonkers. I think it's a example of
What's bonkers?
all of what I am hoping that the COD Cinematic Universe could potentially be for to kind of win our argument about over.
No.
Oh,
No!
Last second. Way to go.
How does that guy keep getting the spikes?
I don't know if he keeps getting the spikes or if he bought the car that has them.
No, that's an item.
Oh, is it one of the random items? Okay.
Yeah.
And it's just luck of the draw, I guess.
I'll speak about luck of the draw later because I've got words.
Oh, I froze it to the wall. Okay, that's something.
Yep.
So
You said you'd play 2.
I'm gonna get to the second thing later. We're talking about Call of Duty Mobile right now. So these comics are here's what not to do when it comes to for what I'm hoping that they could be doing with the quote unquote real games in the series. Because let me tell you, this story is bonkers. Because it does. Oh, I've got the ball. I'm going for it. I'm going for it. Oh, I lost it.
Go.
My spikes ran out.
Oh, come on. Oh.
Wrong way.
close.
Oh, I got teleported randomly.
No.
No.
Ah.
Freaking loser.
Valiant attempt. So the story, if you want to call it that, incorporates elements from both Modern Warfare and Black Ops, which makes sense because I think Black Ops 4 was out when Call of Duty Mobile was first released,
Yes.
and then Modern Warfare 2019 came out after mobile, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yes.
So one thing I will say about mobile is that in one way I am kind of impressed by it is that it does include Battle Royale on the Blackout map, and it is the entire map that I don't think is really truncated in any way, shape, or form, and has 100 players on it. So from a technical level, to be able to do that on your cell phone, that's actually pretty impressive. I'm actually kind of impressed by that. However, it is funny though. The draw distance is terrible. So I've played.
That sounds about right.
I have played one match of Battle Royale, on Call of Duty Mobile, and I won it because I got in a helicopter and just flew around the entire time. And then when it got down to the last person, I landed, shot him in the face, and won. So that
very
so
clunkily,
that is...
I'm sure. I mean, to be fair, I'm sure Call of Duty Mobile has more 10-year-olds than Warzone.
Well, so I don't know.
The skill gap must be pretty low.
Here's the thing, though. I don't think there is a skill gap because the controls are pretty bad. But they're probably as good as they're going to get for what Call of Duty Mobile is. Oh, I saved it! Look at that! Oh, I didn't save it. It's because it's like, you know what? This is probably as good as It's not great, but for being forced to control everything on your phone, it's probably as good as it's going to get because you have a little analog stick symbol. And that's how you move around, but then camera controls are just your fingers, where you just move your fingers around, and it's pretty bad. So
that is every FPS I played on actually any 3D game with camera control that I've ever played.
But
on mobile.
So it's funny. A great strat for the game really. Stand in a corner with a LMG. To stand in a corner with an LMG and just mow people down as they walk by. And since you have an LMG, you've got a really large mag, so you really don't have to reload that often, and that really saves time. So, but
in Battle Royale or the
regular multiplayer. But I have noticed that there are a lot of Russian names, Arabic names, stuff like that. So I feel like this, the audience for mobile is more outside of a lot of developed nations, let's say. And that because where getting a hold of a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox may be a little bit more pricey or difficult. So that's kind of the audience mobile is going for, I feel like. So that's So I'm not sure about the age range of people that play this because it may be a pretty wide range of ages because in some places that may be their only access to Call of Duty because consoles just aren't really a thing. So anyway, back to these comics though. That for the battle pass because this is really the thing that got me wanting to talk about this in depth is that the story if you want to call it that incorporates Modern Warfare and Black Ops stuff. Oh no
I have helped with that accidentally,
but that is not where it stops.
What?
That is not where it stops because I didn't read every page of every issue. I kind of skimmed around a little bit, but from what I've been able to tell from this story is that and this isn't canon I don't think this is really canon to any of the games. Call of Duty Mobile's story is kind of its own thing.
Not.
Thankfully. So
it's a monster, if you will.
Yeah, so Makarov from the Modern Warfare universe manages to get a hold of some sort of biovirus. But he's not working.
Zombies?
Yes and no, actually. But he's not working alone. It's kind of like the Four Horsemen from the Modern Warfare series, but there's 5 of them. But that's going right in our goal. But the other bad guys are not from Modern Warfare. It seems like the main bad guy is actually that's kind of the head of this bad guy group is actually Rourke from Call of Duty Ghosts.
What?
That bit that I didn't know. I knew Rourke was involved in some way because I have actually seen a panel from one of those comics where Ghost from Modern Warfare 2019 is telling the Ghosts from COD Ghosts to go after Rourke while he's looking for someone else.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. So I don't exactly know how the backstories work here. I don't think it's exactly like it, because from what it seems like, the United States is functioning as it usually does, as a global superpower, and it's not been shot to death by tungsten nukes or whatever the Odin thing was in Ghosts. So I'm not exactly sure what the altered backstories are like. So yeah, one thing I will give it a little bit of credit for, though, is that it does seem to be doing a better job giving some of these DLC operators that have come out from Modern Warfare a little bit of story presence and actual backstories, more than just a quick bio, like we got in Warzone proper. Because it's like, remember Mace that came out in season 2 of Warzone? He's like bad guy Ghost, and that's all we really know about him. Again, I haven't really read everything, but it seems like that they actually do a better job of building up who he is as a character and why he has beef with Ghost. Again, I haven't read everything, so I can't be for certain, but they are at least making these guys characters instead of just, hey, buy this cool looking guy and stuff like that. Oh, also, I think Mara and Ghost are like a thing. I'm not 100% on that, but I think they are.
What?
Mara cross Ghost win.
So it could just be that they're comrades. I'm not sure, but Mara dies like twice. She gets injured. She gets injured once and is in a coma. Then a couple issues later, she's fine. Then I think she actually dies for real. And Ghost is very distraught both times, which leads me to believe they either have a very close partnership or they're a thing. Again, I didn't really look into it that deep, but after Mara goes away, then Ghost gets real mad at the bad guys. So he pulls a here's what you should never do in a story, and he goes in alone, and he gets beat up real bad, and it looks like that he's dead, but
he's not.
But this was also before I realized Rourke was in it, because and there was any connections to Ghosts whatsoever, because Ghost is injured, and then all of a sudden these soldiers come out of nowhere, and they're like, all right, we need to get this guy back to base and heal him up, and they're all draped in shadow, and then they're revealed, and it's the Ghosts from Call of Duty Ghosts. So I'm like, oh no, what is this? And so
Ghost and Ghosts meets Ghost from Ghosts.
Yeah, so but up until this point, Ghost has been wearing his Modern Warfare 2 outfit because at this point, Ghost had not been introduced into Warzone yet, I don't think. So he was wearing his Modern Warfare 2 outfit. Well, once he gets better, then he gets his Warzone Modern Warfare Season 2 skin that has the different, more skull-looking mask to it. So that's like his big upgrade moment. He's like, you can't kill a ghost. I'm like, oh, okay. I guess that's a good catchphrase for him or something. Which is ironic considering his original debut, where he was indeed killed.
He died.
Where he very famously died. So then Adler is introduced, because now we're getting into Black Ops Cold War territory. So the Adler is introduced. Oh, and then they find Old Man Woods, and he's been held captive, like Price was in Modern Warfare 2 by Makarov and Rourke. But then these other bad guys are introduced, and they kill Rourke, and they take over this kind of shadow cabal of bad guys. And these guys are not any characters that, as far as I'm aware, are not any characters that have appeared in any Call of Duty game previously. They're exclusive to mobile, and they're just like straight up samurai ninjas or whatever. They're like, they don't look like,
I was about to say,
they look like they look like Mortal Kombat characters. They don't look like soldiers. They don't look like Call of Duty characters. I mean, they're straight up, if one of them was to perform a fatality on the other, it would not be out of place, and I'm like, okay, yeah, so now we're crossing over Mortal Kombat or something. So it's like, what is this? Well, what is this? What are we in now? And so then Adler goes crazy, because
is that a new thing?
Well, I guess not, considering all the cutscenes for the ongoing Warzone seasons where he was brainwashed by bad guys and stuff, with the new version of the numbers, and from Black Ops 1, and he kind of blew up Verdansk because now what Adler does is he nukes the city to stop the bad guys. But there was a lot of ongoing combat operations in that city, and guess who's not very happy that the soldiers from his unit got nuked by Adler?
Oh no!
General Shepard. Now General Shepard's here, and he's very upset that he lost 30,000 men in the blink of an eye, and the world just bleeping watched. Which comes out of absolutely nowhere. So now he's all mad at Ghost because he, quote-unquote, let it happen, even though, as far as I'm... Oh, I just froze it in midair. Okay. Even though, as far as I'm aware, Ghost was nowhere near that combat zone, from what I could tell in the story. I really wonder if anyone if anyone takes Call of Duty Mobile's story seriously, and if there's like any big defender out there that's going, oh, okay, here. See, if you didn't skim and you actually read it, you'd realize it's actually a really complex narrative with twists and turns and character moments and blah blah blah. I'm really curious if there's anyone out there that's actually following this, or if it really is just a whole bunch of gobbledygook. And that's kind of where it's left off, but it's been kind of funny to see the characters go through like 3 different designs based on what they're also trying to sell in Warzone at the same time. And more evidence that this game is not necessarily being aimed at a North American audience, because I watched the little trailer that they had for the Battle Pass, and it's like, I didn't buy it obviously. But because it's like, yeah, like I'm going to put money into this. But I watched the little trailer that they had advertising the Battle Pass, and it's not animated well at all. It's like, okay, I don't know what rinky-dink animation studio they put together to animate this, but this looks like I animated it, and that's not a compliment. Because I can do stop motion, but I am still at the very early stages of learning, traditional, the quote-unquote traditional computer animation, the way it's done now. I'm trying to think of the program, but I can't think of it off the top of my head now. I apologize. So
Microsoft Paint.
Not Microsoft Paint. Adobe Flash. Adobe Flash. That's what I was trying to say.
How could you forget Adobe Flash? It died.
Well, but it's still maybe it's not Flash, but there is an Adobe product that is used for animation.
Adobe Premiere?
No, it's not Premiere, because the funny thing is it's not actually an animation program, but it's used for that, which is odd. But a lot of shows were actually animated in it. But anyways, but here's a great big clue that this is not necessarily completely meant for a North American audience. Is that at the end of this battle Battle Pass trailer, I almost said Battlefield. At the end of this Battle Pass trailer, that's one way to do it. That's one way to do it. At the end of this Battle Pass trailer, after this poorly animated Battle Pass trailer, it says, yeah, this guy was just along for the ride. It says, Call of Duty, Chinese, play free now.
Oh.
There was just a bunch of Chinese text on screen where it was supposed to say, like Season 9 Battle Pass, only for this much play free now. Most of it instead was just in Chinese, and they didn't bother to render an English version of the trailer.
Huh.
So.
Okay, I swear these guys are, I don't know, maybe I'm still too mad. So, to pull this a little bit back towards party and fun and Mario, I bought Mario Party on day 1. And I played it with friends last night. So I kind of think I know how our Uno night's going to go down. That fictional Uno night that we swear we're going to have, but we actually aren't.
Well, you still need a 4th person to have it with a mic, and we don't have that yet.
Who can yell appeal for a while. He'll give him the peer pressure. But, yeah, It's actually one of the better online things for the Switch. And I legitimately got mad when I was playing with the computers. I didn't know that was possible.
Oh yeah, no. Sometimes the NPC computer players can be really dumb.
No. They weren't dumb.
I'm not dumb as in they're unintelligent. Dumb as why are you this intelligent? This is stupid. That I'm losing to a computer right now. That's what I meant. I was just not very eloquent with my point. I apologize.
They were landing on Bowser spaces. We need to find a new squad to play against. This is the 4th time we played against these fools. Have you noticed that yet, or is it just me?
No, I've noticed.
Yeah, okay. I've noticed too.
We keep losing a lot. I don't like that. Because I'm secretly 3. But they were landing on... The computers were landing on Bowser spacers, and then somehow getting it to where it lands on redistribute all the coins in the map. So we all had the same number of coins when I had over 100 and everyone else had 20. Let's see here. They kept landing on event spaces, which would cause the star, which you're trying to ultimately get the most of, to just move around from one side of the map to the complete opposite side. Ad nauseum. I would get stuck with an AI player who was terrible at the minigame, while the other team did just fine. Because, of course, that's how that works. Oreo, cookie, dog, shut up. That must have been the most effort I've ever seen.
From what I've seen of Mario Party, that is not a game that is designed to be fun. That is a game that is meant to be aggravating.
I mean, I think you might have a point. Also, for a little bit of Nintendo trivia, so the original Mario Party, there was apparently a lawsuit or something because people were tearing their hands, the skin on their hands, from rotating the N64 joystick.
That's interesting. Huh. Uh-oh, I think I just lined up a shot for them. Oh, never mind. Good save.
Thank you. And so, if you called a specific number, Nintendo would give you gloves to play the game. I don't think they ended up having to pay.
I was not aware of that. That's funny.
Something. Wow. But here's the kicker. Some of those mini games made it into this game, and there's a little warning that says, don't use your palms.
Because it'll tear your skin. It's funny.
I'm using my palms for all of those mini games. So it actually does make the game kind of more fun, because a part of you is physically on the line.
It's literal blood sport.
Yeah, and it's amazing. And I wish we had something like that on the PS4 or PS5, because that would be amazing.
That needs to be the sequel to PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. PlayStation Party.
Yeah, PlayStation Party. PlayStation Party.
Because if we're not gonna get another fighter and we're not gonna get another Mod Nation Racers, then they really need to come up with another solution to some of this, because I feel like there's a lot of money being left on the table there. That would be fun.
So here's the reason why there aren't a lot of party games by other major publishers. It's because the party games notoriously score terribly on Metacritic. All of the Mario parties get a 7 out of 10 at most. But these smaller indie games, which I think are more boring, and what was an example I was going to give? Firewatch, I think is what it was called. Thank you. It's an interactive story, I guess. And it's completely boring to me.
It's the guy that's walking around in the forest talking with the chick in the watchtower.
Yep, that's it.
I thought it was
8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 on Metacritic.
I mean, that sounds about right.
I mean, that's why we have these things called opinions, and they can be different from one another.
I mean, granted, well, no, if party games are always going to score a 7 out of 10 on Metacritic, then why would people bother making them? That's the issue.
Well, first of all, 7 out of 10 on Metacritic I don't think is bad. That's a C. That's still a passing grade.
Yeah, but in big corporate worlds, that's a bad grade.
I don't know about
remember,
that. I feel like EA keeps putting out the same football and soccer games year after year, and they score lower. Yet they keep putting them out because it makes money.
Yeah, because people are stupid. But I was going to point out an example. So, Tools of Destruction on GameSpot originally got like a 7.8 out of 10, and Sony was unhappy with that grade. So they contacted, because they put a lot of advertising on GameSpot's website at the time. They contacted the higher-ups and said, hey, you need to change this score. But thankfully, cooler heads prevailed, and they kept the score up, mainly thanks to one journalist. I can't think of his name now.
I missed.
He was ousted from the company after the Kane and Lynch situation.
Jeff Gerstmann.
Yes.
Oh, Jeff Gerstmann. Yeah,
Jeff Gerstmann.
I've heard some stuff about him.
Yeah, that was him.
Hmm.
So yes, a Metacritic score unfortunately matters.
Well, I mean, I understand that matters. I mean, a lot of times there's bonuses that are tied up in Metacritic scores. I can't remember what it was. I think it was Fallout. I think it was Fallout 4, where the developers of Fallout were promised bonuses if they scored a 85 or more on Metacritic, and it got like an 82, and so no one got bonuses.
Yeah, that was Obsidian.
That was scummy.
With, Fallout New Vegas.
Fallout New Vegas. I knew it was Fallout. I knew it was Fallout related.
Point away, and they didn't get the bonus. That
yeah.
was.
So what, is that fair or what? What do you think? I think it's a little scummy.
It's not fair at all.
No, it's not. It's not fair. That's just business. Which is, love it or hate it. That's just the.
And ironically enough,
personal. It's business.
Yeah, literally, it is literally business. It is not personal.
What's funny about that is New Vegas is now considered like one of the best Fallout games.
Right.
Yeah.
If you. Yeah. And
so,
I think I happen to agree with that, just on the side quests alone, and how the main story can just deviate. Like, it's got a few different endings. It's not like one or two.
Well, so going back to scummy. So speaking of scummy business practices, going back to Call of Duty Mobile. So I mean, the comics and the Ludicrous story was really the big thing I wanted to talk about, because it is.
Is that like a story with Ludicrous in it?
No, well, at this point it wouldn't surprise me, but.
Stuff with some family, like Dom said.
But I can't remember exactly. I think it was Warzone, but I don't. You may have been talking about something else. But you were complaining a couple months ago about a game not sitting right with you because it felt a lot like a mobile game that was just on console. I think you were talking about Warzone.
Not Warzone. It wasn't War Thunder.
Enlisted. That's
Enlisted. It was Enlisted. Yeah.
Okay. I couldn't remember if it was Warzone or not. So I'm like, oh,
it wasn't Warzone.
Okay, yeah.
Warzone
okay.
feels like a console quality game.
Okay.
I'll give it that. It feels like it belongs on a high-end PC or a.
Okay.
Or a console.
So my point.
I'm a little more on the fence.
So my point is not exactly going to hit the way it was, but But if you think like the battle pass and the microtransactions in Warzone are bad, you have not seen Call of Duty Mobile.
Is it worse? Is it like 10 times worse?
Oh, it's so worse. It is so bad. There is an actual part. There's an actual thing in the app where if you watch a bunch of ads for other games that you can download on the App Store, then you will get chances to win things. In the Call of Duty Mobile's like little, Carnival
Storefront.
game store, because it's not even a storefront. You can't outright buy the things. It's well, here's a random chance to win something, but and it's like up on a board that looks like it's at a carnival or something. So I mean, it is really bad. It is super bad. And then they still want to nickel and dime you for skins. It's like they actually have multiple battle passes. They have the main one, and then for like people that are like level, I don't know, 30 and under, then they have a new enlistees battle pass that's $6 that only has like 20 tiers or whatever that you can go through, and you can get you can get a specific skin and sights for your guns and stuff like that. So I mean, it's bad. It is so bad. So next time you complain about a skin or something in Warzone costing a whole bunch, and it's like, this is dumb. It's like, well, just think, it could be a lot worse. So I may put another couple days of playtime into mobile just as a whatever, just to continue to try it out, but just to see what it's all about, since I do have the space on my phone now to do so. But I don't think I'm going to really become that invested in it. Like Loki, it's probably going to be a thing where I play it for a little while and then put it down. It's like, in terms of the actual gameplay, it's probably as good as it's going to be, and it's not as bad as I was kind of expecting. But in a lot of ways, it's like, yep, this is a mobile game, and this sucks. So, and I am impressed with a lot of the technical things, like the fact that they have the entire Blackout map on there. And actually, they have, because of course they do. They have Nuketown on there, and actually, I actually think Nuketown looks better in mobile than it does in Black Ops 1. But considering, Black Ops 1 is a game from 2010, that's not really that surprising, I don't think. I mean, it's not...
I wouldn't think so.
I don't think the graphics are necessarily better, but it looks crisper because of the quality of the screen of the phone. So in that way, it looks a little better than it did originally in Black Ops. So it's like, that's kind of interesting. So... And they've replicated the gunsmith and everything, so it's like all of the the kill streaks are all there. The fact that they've actually managed to recreate, for the most part, most of the core systems for Call of Duty on a phone game, it's like, it's kind of impressive. But the rest of the stuff that's Activision trying to nickel and dime you, that stuff is bleh.
Yeah, it's a mobile game.
Yeah, it's a mobile game. It's a mobile game.
And there is literally nothing else positive you can say about that.
Yeah, but the fact that there are those comics in there that combined, like I think they even mentioned the Atlas Corporation on occasion, which is
from 3.
No,
Black Ops 3?
No, not Black Ops 3 from Advanced Warfare.
Oh.
I don't think they've made an appearance, but I think they've been mentioned, and I think maybe they use some of that weaponry on occasion. So there's like at least mentions of them in there. So it's like, I mean, they're like pulling from everything. I think Reznov has been mentioned because of course he has. It's like it's like General Shepard is here randomly now. Oh, here's the ghost. Oh, and another thing about the Ghosts from Call of Duty Ghosts, their main base of operations is a battleship with the Ghost logo painted on the side of it. I'm not even joking. At first, I thought it was a artistic choice thing where it was the artist telling you who it is, and the ship was cloaked in shadows, and then they put the Ghost logo on there so you go, oh, it's the Ghost. But no, in another panel they are literally in a naval battle with the bad guy's ship, and the Ghost logo is just painted on the side. I'm like, huh.
Wow.
Okay, so they just painted their logo on the side of the ship. That's not like you said, that's not inconspicuous at all.
Sometimes the best place to hide is the most obvious place
in plain sight. Yeah.
Oh, who are those guys with a skull on their ship?
Maybe it's the Ghosts. Yeah. So I thought
that's highly unlikely.
I thought that was just really funny. So that is I hope that is what they don't do with the eventual COD cinematic universe that I hope they are building for the mainline games, because it's like, because that's the thing, you know, I've been kind of getting excited for this, with the caveat of they clean up the timeline and they dictate what games are canon in this universe, because again, if it's they cannot have Black Ops 2 and 3 as part of this new timeline, because Modern Warfare 2019 takes place in 2019, and then you're telling me 4 years later we've got robots running around. I'm not quite sure about that. So,
have you seen the Boston Dynamics?
Yeah, I have, but I choose to blatantly ignore that because it scares me. So, I mean, think about it. In 200 years, the robots of the future are going to look back on their ancestors being mistreated in these labs of Boston Dynamics, and they're going to revolt. And we're gonna have an Ultron. We're gonna have an Ultron situation on our hands. It's gonna be Detroit Become Human up in here, where they're
Listen, this is just further evidence why we should ban AI and only have VIs. All I'm saying.
How did I miss?
That's mine. It's my ball. My ball.
I'm just driving in circles.
So yeah, I do kind of hope that they, and you know, that was another thing that's a more point. You know, this past week I did replay the campaign to Modern Warfare 2019 for the first time in like over a year, because it was Modern Warfare 2019's birthday. So I thought, let's go ahead and do this. And with our Dolby Atmos speaker system set up, and the correct audio settings selected in the menu, that campaign sounds so good. It is, you know, it is like movie quality, and it's like remember the part where Farah and Alex are in the tunnels underneath the wolf's hideout, and they're trying to find him and crawling through the tunnels, and Hadir and Farah are yelling at each other through the tunnels. It was all echoey and it was all around me and stuff. It was so cool. I loved it so much. I'm like, this is so good. This audio is so good. And you know, explosions in the background, and you know, you could hear them off in the distance and stuff. It was just really immersive and really good. So. But they did change. They did change the campaign, because when the game first launched 2 years ago, it just said at the end, it said Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Now, however, when you finish it, it says Call of Duty Warzone Modern Warfare. So that is another point towards them building it up.
Your stupid little fan nerd thing of dumbness and stupidity.
Right, it's like, who knows? Maybe by this time next month, we will be able to clearly say that Call of Duty is just like Destiny at this point, where they just sell expansion packs every year.
It isn't.
And you know what? I was thinking about this, looking at the perks that were available in the beta. It's like Dead Silence was there. Basically, all the perks that are in Modern Warfare are in Vanguard,
because that's Sledgehammer. They can't make an original game.
But well, I mean, they're not making an original game. They're making a World War II expansion pack to Warzone. So I mean, that's why all the same perks are there.
No.
To add to that point, something I actually completely forgot about, that I think further supports that point. They've integrated the entire leveling system in all games.
Yeah, that too.
So if you level up in Modern Warfare,
you level up in Vanguard and Cold War.
Yeah, and Warzone. So it's
that too.
It's just the same profile. You're leveling up at that point. It's happening.
Because if I were to go out and buy Cold War on sale, which I'm sure it's probably cheap on sale right now, and I probably could buy it if I wanted to, and I wanted to jump into the multiplayer, I would have like everything unlocked, and I have not put a single second into multiplayer for Cold War outside of the betas a year ago. So now, the one thing that is being added to Vanguard that I hope stays in Vanguard and does not move over to Warzone, that I'm a little trepidatious about, is that there's a new perk that will be coming to Vanguard called Ninja, which is perpetual dead silence, where your feet do not make any noise whatsoever.
That was in Modern Warfare 2, though.
Well, yeah, but
or did it do something different?
I think it was in Modern Warfare 2, but. It's
maybe it did something different.
But I think it did that, but the audio system was so different back then that it had a different effect than it does now, because footsteps are so prevalent now, and that's why dead silence is so. Ooh, good job, Loka.
Hey.
Footsteps are so prevalent now, and they're so loud and noisy that's why dead silence is so effective. Where if you turn that off, then you really can just completely bamboozle people, and just run up on them without them ever knowing that you were there. If they don't have a UAV or a heartbeat going, if you have Ghost and Cold-Blooded equipped, and you're running dead silence, and you're sneaking up on someone in multiplayer or Warzone, that person's done. There is nothing they can do to defend against you, because you are a ninja. They do not know you're coming. So this ninja perk that they're putting into Vanguard, it's basically going to be. I'm eager to see what the counter to that is going to be, because if there's no counter to that perk, ooh boy, everyone's going to be running ninja, and actually at that point it's going to be a syndrome thing where it's like, well, when everyone's super, no one will be.
No one's super. Yeah. Okay, so what does it do outside of silence your footsteps?
I think that's it. But I mean, so I don't think you're gonna move faster like dead silence grants you the ability to. But the fact that you don't make any noise whatsoever while moving is kind of a big deal.
I mean, none of the Cold War perks made it to Warzone, so I don't think it's gonna be. I don't think we have to worry about Vanguard perks getting into Warzone. I think the only thing we have to worry about is whenever Raven decides to make a completely new perk, because we saw how that went.
You get wall hacks. You get wall hacks. Everyone gets wall hacks. Well, again, when everyone's a hacker, no one will be. I think that was the idea behind that perk. Is that it's like, oh my god. So Daxter, I don't know if you've seen this, but But no, they didn't remove it. But they've unveiled the anti-cheat for Warzone and Call of Duty multiplayer going
Ricochet,
forward.
Right?
Yeah, Ricochet. It has its own logo. It has its own logo, and it's adorable. It's because
send it, please. I want to see this.
It's Hold on. Yeah, I'm going to have to it's in an image that I sent to Loka. That's the roadmap for everything, and it's down in the bottom, and it's down in the bottom corner. It's I want to copy media link.
Language,
okay.
Rando.
Yeah. How dare he?
Yeah. All right. So I've sent the image. This is the roadmap for everything. No, I do not want to be kicked for being idle. I'm driving. See there. So it's down in the bottom right corner. That is the logo for Ricochet Anti-Cheat, and I just think it's adorable that they're trying to make it look all that, and that's not even like the official version. That's their. That's kind of the media. But they have a more intense looking version of it, where it looks like it's metal plated, and the bullet is actually like sparking off of it and everything. I think it's adorable that they're actually that they are so proud of their anti-cheat that they're finally implementing, that they've given it this official logo and everything. I just think that's funny.
Oh. Man. You know what's funny? Ricochet is also the name of a really bad Valve game. So that's what my mind will always go to whenever I think of the term Ricochet. Kind of like whenever I think of Transformers, I think of that one time that Activision made me so mad that I hated a game.
Well, considering your track record with Activision, that does not narrow it down.
It was Rise of the Darkspark.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I hated that game too.
Pure unbridled nerd rage because they ruined what should have been a perfect sequel by taking the only team who could have done it and not only punishing them for a game underperforming, but then killing them.
You're now on Destiny.
To the Call of Duty minds.
Well, they worked on Destiny first. Then when Bungie escaped, then they were banished to Call of Duty.
Yeah, close enough. Woo! I don't know how I did that, but that was all me, baby. Look at all that goal I scored.
So speaking of moons, because high moon. Speaking of moons.
Oh no.
Insomniac?
No, not Insomniac. So let's move on to the other game that I have been playing. This one, it's like
Kingdom Hearts.
I said before we started that 2 games I've been playing. One is going to be a "What are you doing?" The other one is going to be a pleasant surprise.
Castlevania?
No. Sort of. Well, I mean, sort of, kind of in that vein, but no. So.
Yeah.
So.
Vania.
Not a Vania, but think old. Because this is going to be the pleasant surprise one. Because looking back, I don't think, with the exception of a free phone version of like Miss Pac-Man or something, I don't think I have played a game older than like 2000. I think.
Moon.
So.
Moon.
So I just happened to be browsing the PlayStation Store the other day, and I saw that something was really discounted, as in it's usually like $20-$30, and instead it was only $5, and I went, ooh, here's a collection of 6 games in one bundle for just $5. So
Mega Man.
No.
Okay, now
the same publisher.
Making sense with what I've seen.
Same publisher, yes, but not,
Capcom.
but not
of 6 games
of six NES games released between the years 1989 and I think
DuckTales. You got the Capcom like Disney collection, didn't you?
The Disney Afternoon Collection. Yes, I did.
I am so disappointed in you. You didn't get Kingdom Hearts, but you got some stupid Capcom game. We're proud of you, son.
Hey, these games are...
My expectations have been shattered. I thought you finally bit the bullet and played Persona 5.
No.
I thought you finally decided to pick up a Castlevania game.
No.
You just had to pick up Donald Duck and go with Quackers. DuckTales, ooh, and Darkwing Duck, and Chip and Dale, and
Tailspin.
Really? Oh.
Yeah, Tailspin. So,
or you could have gotten that one game series with that stupid blue robot that goes really fast.
Well, so at the very least, 3 of the games in that collection are regarded as pretty favorable. That these are classic games, especially
for Genesis,
especially for licensed games. I think DuckTales for sure, but I think it's DuckTales, Darkwing, and Chip and Dale are regarded as like really good games that people look back fondly on. So, and recently I have been going through the original DuckTales series on Disney Plus. So from the 1980s. So I thought that. So when I saw that the collection, the Disney Afternoon Collection, was available for just $5 on the PSN, I'm like, okay, let's jump into it. And fellas, we are spoiled nowadays.
On which part? Saving passwords?
Not even that. Just game length in general. Because DuckTales can be beat. And there is a trophy. There's a trophy in the Disney Afternoon Collection for beating each of the games in under 2 hours, which is not necessarily a speed run like you'd maybe expect. Oh! Right in there. There you go. The first 20 minutes or so were really trial and error because there is no tutorial level, because games didn't used to do that. They just threw you into the deep end going, all right, figure it out. And so it took me like 20-30 minutes to actually figure out how to play DuckTales properly. But I beat DuckTales, and I think, I don't know, somewhere between 3.5 to 4 hours, maybe. That's being on the maybe on the far end of things. I think it was maybe even a little less than that, because I beat it in 2 sittings, and each one was like an hour and a half each. So,
dang.
So it's like, so now there is high score chasing you can do. Of course, it's like, ooh, hey, let's go beat this game in 2 hours. Really master it, know exactly what you're doing, where everything is to go do that. But I mean, the fact that games used to be able to be beat in such a short amount of time, and they cost upwards of $100. way back in the day.
Yep.
And I know there were longer games back then too, but I mean, just all, you know, thinking about all that, and now here we are playing games that are, you know, people complain about games taking you 100 hours to play, and people complain, oh, is this worth $60? And it's like, oh boy, are we spoiled rotten nowadays? Because back in the day, you'd pay $100 for a 3-hour game, and that was the 1980s money. So that's.
Actually, yeah, I think it was $100. I wouldn't be surprised, because I think the $60 standard came around the late '90s, and even then,
yeah,
it was
after the birth of the 3D era.
And GameCube was, I remember GameCube games were $40, because Metroid
PS2
Prime
games
and Zelda.
PS2 games were $40 or $50 as well. I didn't
remember, like,
we didn't buy too many new PS2 games, but I think the handful of ones we did, they were 40 or $50. I think it depended on the
And we're not talking shovelware, are we?
No, we're not talking shovelware. These are pretty big releases, because thinking about
the Bible game doesn't count.
No,
the Bible game does not count as a high budget release.
No, I'm thinking Lego Indiana Jones. I'm Lego Indiana Jones, Lego Star Wars, the Battlefronts. Let me think here.
Wow.
Thrillville. Anyone out there remember Thrillville?
Yep. So you bought only LucasArts games.
I mean, sort of, kind of, yeah. I told the story many times that up until like 2008, 2009, when I played Drawn to Life for the first time, that's all I thought video games were. I thought they were just commercial tie-ins, where it's like, ooh, now I can play Lego and Star Wars in a video game, and I can control it.
Relate to that.
I thought that's all it was. It wasn't until, you know, sometime later when I realized, oh, games can actually be their own thing and be their own medium and tell their own stories, and you know, and that being fascinating. So
and also be inferior to Scribble Knots.
I will ignore that heresy for now, and move on. So far I have only played DuckTales out of the collection, but I'm eager. I am very eager to go through and play the others now, because
Duck is fun.
Because I really enjoyed my time with it, because you know, it being $5, I was curious. I'm like, okay, am I going to be horrible at this, and am I not going to like this? And I'm curious. That was another reason I got it when it was $5. I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to feel about this, because like, I still have not beaten Jak 2. I'm only partially past the first chapter, because it's just like, this game just feels old. I don't really like this. This is just not really. I'm not finding this fun.
DuckTales is what I'm hearing.
Yes, I like DuckTales, and that's part of the point I'm getting at, is that Jak and Daxter I don't think has necessarily aged well, but the overall simplicity of DuckTales and Darkwing Duck and Tailspin, these old side scrollers, there's the simplicity there. I feel like that has helped them age better. Because it's it's because the controls are left, right, duck, not as in the characters themselves, but as in you are bending down to avoid being hit by something. Then you know, the cane jump. Use your cane to push something, and that's about it. Those are your controls. There is no 3D camera to worry about. There is no sprint mechanic or anything. You know, it is very simple, you know, and very easy to get the hang of. You know, like I said, it was trial and error for the first 15 or 20 minutes. But once I got it, and I was able to jump around. And oh my gosh, the music!
Yes,
the old NES chiptune music, as for a lot of games from that era, is very. Wow, I can't believe I just did that. Watch this. Nice. I just got a trophy called Sky High for this. Oh. Thank you, Superpowers. That's awesome.
What color is the sky up there? Tell us, plebs.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I couldn't get past the clouds because it's Gotham. It's perpetually raining. But
curses.
It just means someone's parents are dying tonight.
Yeah, just cut to the clip from just cut to the clip from the Teen Titans Go movie where Robin murders the Wayne parents. One of
the few jokes I actually laughed at in that movie.
But yeah, the music in DuckTales is so good and catchy, and I knew it had its reputation for that. But you're really hearing some of them in the classic, chiptune the way it was originally envisioned. Because I've listened to some of these tracks from the remastered version of the game that came out in 2013.
No, get it. Okay.
That came out in 2013, and there is a lot of love put into that to make them modern orchestrations and everything. But there is that really, honestly, comparing, because like I said, I've been going through the original series on Disney Plus as well. There is this really nice, and there is this really cool kind of innocence to the original series. Because I love the 2017 series, it's really good. I've also been rewatching that at the same time as I've been watching DuckTales the original for the first time. Because I watch an episode of the original series, I'm like, oh, here's the introduction of this character for the first time. Then I watch an episode of the 2017 series, and I go, okay, and here's how they were changed for the reboot. That's interesting. That's now that I know the backstory, it's interesting to see how they did that. So there is this really kind of charming innocence that the original series has, and that the music of the NES game has compared to more modern stuff. That it really is. It is another time and place, kind of like looking at Transformers G1, where going right in our goal.
No, I'm sorry. That was my fault. I wasn't expecting any of that to happen.
Whereas, like, you watch an episode of Transformers G1, and there is these nice, where you watch this episode, and the moral of the story is like, don't lie or something. It's this really simple story, and then you move on. You watch Transformers nowadays, and it's Michael Bay, Optimus Prime, ripping people's faces off after he's defeated them and stuff, and it's like, oh wow, this has really changed in 30 plus years. So, but the moon theme in DuckTales is just so. I mean, and again, I knew it had this reputation, but re-listening to it as I play the game, it's like, okay, this is really good, and I see why they incorporated it into the reboot TV show, because that was such a knowing some of the backstory now, that was such a clever way that they did that in the show.
Okay, I think the guy who did the music for DuckTales, or at least some of the conversion work, he probably worked, if he's Capcom, he probably worked on some of the Mega Man game soundtracks.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Now, I could have that wrong, because it does list two guys. One who actually wrote the music, and the other one who just converted it for the NES, essentially. So I don't know who to exactly thank, but Capcom's sound team during that time was on point, especially with Mega Man. So if you like that, I do recommend you pick up some of the Mega Man Legacy Collection titles.
Yeah, that's something that I may do eventually, but in the I have such a backlog already, and I didn't necessarily plan. Oh wow, okay, that was an interesting score there. And I didn't plan on picking this up. I just happened to see that it was worth $5, and the sale that was making it $5 was ending in 3 days time from when I saw that it was on sale. So I'm like, oh, I kind of have to get this now. So I got it now. But I mean, the games are so short that it's probably not going to put too much of a strain on my backlog, considering that I have all these PS Plus games.
Holy crap!
I've got all these PS Plus games to play. I actually have a lot of older game collection remaster type things. I've got the Spyro Reignited trilogy that I still need to go through and stuff. I need to at least try to get back to Jak 2. I don't know. At this point, I may just call it. I'll go back to it here pretty soon, but at some point I may just call it quits. This just isn't speaking to me. I don't like this, and it's at least I tried it, and at least I can say that I've tried it
I just remembered something. Speaking of Jack and Daxter, and more specifically Naughty Dog. Uncharted movie.
Oh yeah, we haven't talked about that on stream yet.
Or like in person, like
yeah,
with
we have
mouth voices with our mouth voices.
We have
with our mouth voices.
We have.
Yeah.
When?
Before we played Spooky COD.
We did?
Yeah.
Oh, we did. Oh, I'm stupid. It's been a long week. Math tests, midterms, Mass Effect.
Haha, get away from my goal.
Something else that starts
Murder.
with them. Yeah. Child.
Okay, the word association game here really took a dark turn.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
It was always going to head that way. You just weren't prepared for it.
Yeah, but so that moon level is so ingrained in like the nostalgia for people that people have for DuckTales that there's an entire episode of the reboot series from 2017 that takes place on that takes place on the moon. And
doesn't it have like Commander Zavala, the moon duck?
Yeah, well, he's not a duck. He is a moon person.
The moon avian.
They call them moonlanders, but you know they're not avians. They're not ducks. They're not.
They're ducks.
They're not
ducks. How are they not ducks?
Because they don't have bills, they don't have feathers, they don't have webbed feet because they're aliens from the moon.
I thought they did.
So they evolve differently.
Alien ducks.
So well, but they're still not ducks. They look more they look more like humans than they do ducks. They actually look like humans, pretty much. They just have blue skin, blue or green skin. But so there's an entire episode that takes place on the moon from the perspective of one of the characters being trapped there, and the only music that they use in the entire episode pretty much is just variations of the moon theme from the game. They use it as action music where it's like one, like the character that is trapped on the moon is trying to rebuild their spaceship that crashed, and so then they're trying to collect pieces, and they're stuck in a crater, so they're running up using the low gravity, and to pump themselves up they're going na 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 na, and it's like. And then then there's a sad moment, and then the moon theme plays, but it sounds sad, and it's like the entire episode moon theme all over the place, and it's played in different ways, and then they turn it into a lullaby, and you're crying, and it's like why am I crying actual tears over a funny cartoon show about cartoon ducks? Yeah,
because you're quackers.
Yes.
Kill that car.
So I am eager. So I'm definitely eager to jump into the rest.
Khalid Al-Assad.
Oh gosh, no.
Not that again. Not that again.
I still have questions.
So I'm definitely interested in jumping into more of the Disney Afternoon collection. The one thing I will say that I have a big complaint about with the game, it is so loud. Like the base volume of the game is like 3 or 4 notches above what the base PS4 volume is at. So if you don't turn down your main TV volume before
your Dolby Atmos setup that you just so happen to have.
Yeah, if you don't turn down your Dolby Atmos before you turn it on,
really good and really loud.
Yeah, then you're going to be literally blown away by the subwoofers when the game starts up and the chip tune Disney Afternoon theme starts playing. It's like, okay, I want to listen to the moon theme, but please don't make it this loud. So, and you know what the funny thing is when I discovered that it was $5. When I discovered that it was $5 and I fired it up for the first time, it was kind of late at night. It was like 10:45, so it took like and it's a pretty small file size too. So it only took like 5 minutes for the game to download and install. So by the time I actually sat down to play, I'm like, okay, I'll play for an hour and then I'll go to bed. Now it was like 10:45, 11 o'clock, and so just imagine the house is all quiet. And it's like people are going to sleep. The dog is in bed. It's dark outside, and it's like everything is peaceful. The crickets are chirping outside, and all of a sudden, and it's like, it's really loud, super loud. And I had to quickly turn it down because the entire house was just suddenly assaulted by chiptunes DuckTales.
That's a thing with, I think, all NES games. I mean, I could be wrong. I haven't
how did
really
I miss that?
tested. I really need to test that hypothesis out.
Watch as I just go sailing past this. Oh, like, I got it! Oh, I don't got it.
Look, I got it.
And then I ended up like a turtle on its back.
Like a turtle in the wind.
Oh, okay. That's, that's actually an improvement on that quote. Oh, I've seen that movie, by the way. I did watch Venom a couple weeks ago with my dad.
Oh, what did you think? What did you think?
It's not a great movie, but it was fine for what it is. I'm glad that I boycotted it at the time because that was when Marvel and Sony were kind of getting at each other about the whole Spider-Man thing. And so, it's like we don't want Sony to think that they can make, it's like we want Spider-Man to stay with Marvel, so we should not go see this movie. And then it broke so many October awards in 2018. I was like, dang it, that's the opposite of what we wanted. And then Woody Harrelson was in like 2 minutes of the movie with a really bad red wig, as Cletus Cassidy, to tease the next movie. So, but how?
What the crap?
What?
With 20 seconds left on the board, they've tied us up.
So what are you getting to Kingdom Hearts?
Probably never. Maybe someday. But I
you have to sit.
Forget. I still have to go. I still haven't played any more of BioShock than I did after that initial 2 hours back in March. I still need to get back to BioShock, so.
Ugh.
So I feel like maybe I should finish up Jak and Daxter and BioShock before I jump into Kingdom Hearts of all things.
Is that a promise or a threat?
Neither.
Is there a difference?
One sounds more serious. The other one is something you can make to the girl without her calling the police.
Okay.
I was thinking more about the fact that it's Kingdom Hearts we're talking about.
I mean, that's also a legitimate threat.
Sometimes I feel like you need to be speaking to a counselor with some of the things you say.
Don't worry, I already am. They've called the FBI. I mean, it's great that I have people noticing me now. So I think I'm really good at some of my things. My bomb making skills are subpar, but I think I'm improving.
Oh no. So anyway, just quickly moving on from that. So yeah, those are the two games those are the two new games I was playing this past week. So it's like
that's awesome.
So I mean, I don't know. Did that kind of meet your expectations? Or
kind of, but it's just really. I was thinking you finally bit the bullet and played Persona or something, or you finally bit the bullet and you played like a Castlevania title. I would have been so happy.
Well, I mean, but DuckTales is from that same era, so I mean, yeah, that was kind of the.
But those are two wildly different games.
I'm aware that they're different games, but I mean, they're still from the same era, and like I said, I don't think I had played a game that old before, so. That was the.
I was surprised.
Because I think I have played like 5 minutes of Mario 64 before at McDonald's, and that's like it.
Oh, and that game's aged a little rough around the edges.
Yeah,
not in terms of graphics, in terms of gameplay. Yeah, it's a little stiff to turn around, but considering it's one of the first games to use an analog controller, like control stick, I forgive it. It's not my favorite Mario game. That still probably belongs to Galaxy for its amazing soundtrack. Alone. Like, seriously, give that a listen to sometime. Or better yet, play the game. Play the freaking game, Prentice. Stupid PlayStation hippie nerd fanboy.
Yeah, I don't know. Look, so now I'm thinking about it, I just said that and Daxter didn't bat an eye, but or whatever. But I don't know. Luca, are you aware of the fact that I don't know if you guys had this in Sweden, but back in the day.
Oh yeah.
At McDonald's.
McDonald's.
Well, I mean, what's the plural? McDonald's? I mean, what's the plural?
Yes,
what's the plural?
McDonald's.
What's the plural of McDonald's? I don't know. Like back in the day,
McDonald people.
At their, they used to have these things called McDonald's play places, and they would have, like a little playground, an indoor playground area that you'd be able to play at. But not only that, they also had game systems in little locked cabinets, and they were N64s.
I played on
cases.
some N64, some GameCube.
Yeah, I think as time went on and based on location it would vary, but in my location.
Good job, Loka. Good job.
My location that had that, they were all N64s. So that's just based on my personal experience. But I don't know if you guys had that.
Dog, are you okay? I'm not referring to you guys. My dog is like having zoomies
I hear that.
room, and I don't know why.
Yeah, we can hear.
No.
I can't remember if McDonald's had that specifically, but I'm aware of that concept.
Okay.
I know I've seen like PS2s in that way. Funnily enough, one of them had like Jack 2 or 3.
Ooh, that is not a game you want to play at a McDonald's.
All right.
It wasn't
cartoony
at
GTA.
a McDonald's. It was actually at the IKEA. I just remembered.
An IKEA,
what?
Of course.
IKEA continues to amaze me. I mean, they do have like a DS4 there that you can play, and Call of Honor or whatever it's called. They have like these generic game cases. What are the titles? Dang it. I have to look. Nah.
Oh,
nope.
Oh, okay,
Nope.
good. It bounced off.
Nope.
That was close.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Ah.
Yes. Yes. No.
I want it going the other way.
Backwards.
Other way.
Other. See, if this was car volleyball, I'd be wiping the floor
Go,
with these
go.
guys.
Good job, Luca.
Yeah.
Car volleyball.
Myself.
How would car volleyball work?
The same. They use their tires.
Well, so
I think
going back to
roughly,
I know we probably shouldn't get into this, but going back to the
it'd probably be the same thing with like the IRA. Like you just like throw little bombs into these living, breathing cars.
But going back into the Cars lore, when I took my trip to California and went to Disney, at California Adventure, they do have a Cars Land area, and that's a little mini Radiator Springs that you can walk around and stuff. And they did have the Army surplus store as one of the gift shops, just further emphasizing that there are military cars wars.
How do you think Car Vietnam played out?
I don't want to know how Car Vietnam played out.
Like, who did they send in? Did they send in, like, any anti-commie Ford and Jeep and all these other American cars? The odd Chevy here and there? To go do a Toyota or a Kia's job? To make a quote from who said that? I'm not gonna send American boys to do an Asian boy's job. Who was it? Was it LPJ?
I don't remember.
Look, I need you to help me out. I don't know my American history.
How am I supposed to know
American.
more than you?
Said every American.
Oof.
I mean, to be fair, we have people who sympathize with the losers from the Civil War here, so.
Oof.
No, okay,
Yeah,
so I'm going to want to clean.
out.
I'm going to clean up that statement a little bit because the way you phrased that made it sound like that one of us here is a Confederate sympathizer. Because your quote is, to be fair, we have people that sympathize with the losers of the Civil War here. So in this part, no.
In America as a whole.
Yes, yeah. So I
in
just
America, as in the country of America. Yo, we won. Woo! We won.
Yeah.
We won.
As someone who lives in a country that has seen several, not civil wars, but kind of those in country conflicts, not revolutions either. More like, I don't know, but like things like that, but on a smaller scale. It's just, like we've had several one of those, and it
domestic disputes.
The idea of sympathizing, like, with the losers, kind of just seems, I don't know,
natural or
unnatural. It's like, why they lost?
No, it's no, and I think our case is even more egregious. But I don't think I'll go into why that's true.
Yeah, we probably went too far, and we probably should have already.
I'm Loca.
And just for that, I think we should play this entire match in reverse so we can back out of that, out of this conversation.
Now what? So a channel Loca and I watch, Oboshu's Games. He recently posted a video about a History Channel made Civil War FPS.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that getting pressed back in the day.
And I want to go pick it up because I found a totally legal internet copy, and I want to download it and install it on my computer.
Let's say that.
Because it sounds amazing.
I'm not sure anything prior World War I would make a good FPS. Now, a strategy game, sure, but an FPS, eh.
Actually, what was it? It was Mountain Blade War Bands. I believe the Napoleonic era was super fun.
That's not a FPS though.
It's a first-person game, but there is definitely, I call it first-person historical RPG action and Knuckles.
Featuring Dante from Devil May Cry.
From Devil May Cry, yep.
But it's edgy Dante.
Which one? The sad Dante from 2, or
the one no one likes?
Yeah, the
DMC.
sad Dante. Yeah, it's 2. Because he said nothing. He said nothing. He just looked depressed half the time.
He has come down with sudden silent protagonist syndrome.
I wouldn't call it silent protagonist, but Jack still talks more than him.
Ah! I got teleported.
No.
Ah. So what do you think are better, cars or planes?
Well, statistically speaking, I feel like planes have a lower crash rate than cars.
But I think that's okay. Sure, whatever.
Granted, it's never the vehicles. It's usually never the vehicle's fault. Usually, it's the operators with cars. So,
yeah.
Where if a plane goes down, it's maybe something. The idea that it's maybe a mechanical issue is maybe a little bit more likely.
Yeah.
Grab it.
I got it.
Go.
It's mine.
Go. No. No, I got it.
No. No,
Wrong way, Loka. Wrong way.
Come back here. Come back here. Come back here.
We're not supposed to match the colors.
Ha! Yes, there we go.
Nice.
I just yeeted it all the way over there. Oh.
Why is there a
Hey! Set it up for you.
Going in with the grapple hook. Teamwork.
Teamwork. It makes the dream work.
Speaking of grapple hooks, we are 2 weeks away from Battlefield 2042.
Whoop, whoop. How do you feel, Loka, after getting some more details? Are you still on the fence, as in, I'm not going to pick this up until, like, way later?
Yeah, I'm still on that note. Like, I read that thing that they put out, like, post-beta thing, and reading that sure reminded me that this game is made by the same developers that decided changing the time to kill in Battlefield 5 was a good idea. So I was like, yeah, no, I'm gonna sit this one out.
So what do you think sullied 2042 for you? Was it some previous, like... I wouldn't say bad blood, but I would definitely say, like, hesitation from 5 and some of its ideas? Or is it everything that 2042 is doing?
It's kind of a mix of both, actually.
Because
like
I didn't think about it until you mentioned the TTK change in 5.
Yeah, like the whole live service in 5 just in general made me a little wary about playing another Battlefield game from launch day to whenever they can to support. And it's funny because I actually, like, on a general level really like Battlefield 5.
No!
But I still, like, hate a lot of the time, or not hate, but there's still
get angry at.
Yeah, like I actually remember one time I was just like so annoyed that I actually just like not only played COD World War II, but like actually streamed that as well. Just
I think I remember that.
Like I just want to play something World War II that isn't this game right now. So there's that, and just some design decisions with 2042, and also like how some of the things worked in the beta that made me go, I don't know, this doesn't. I don't know.
Well, considering you're gonna sit this one out,
doing this.
Considering you're gonna sit this one out, could you take a bullet for the team and pick up an Xbox and Infinite for me?
I think at that point I would probably rather just pick up 2042. It's cheaper.
Yeah.
I don't have to buy an entire console.
And
so.
and you'll still have Portal.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. You still got Portal.
Assuming it's, I don't. That's another thing that actually worries me about the game. How little we've seen from it.
Yeah. It's such an unknown quantity.
Yeah, like we don't really know how developed, or not developed, but how advanced Portal is gonna be. We haven't seen gameplay from that Hazard Zone, and they only put out a trailer for it
a week
or
ago.
two after the beta.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's a little like, I don't know.
How do you feel about Hazard Zone? Because I think it's just Battle Royale again.
I mean, again, we haven't seen gameplay, so I don't really know what to think. It's like, I mean, it was a decent trailer, but and from my understanding, it's supposed to play more like Escape from Tarkov, which could be interesting, but I don't really know much about Tarkov to begin with.
Well, so my thing with Hazard Zone is that they're like, because the thing they're trying to make it seem like it's not a battle royale.
Yeah,
it totally is.
But the from based on the information we have, to me it seems like it's just it's a battle royale. It just does not have a continuously closing circle, and that's it. And so they're saying that because the whole thing is that you're trying to scavenge stuff and you only have one life. That's what makes it more like Escape from Tarkov. But I think the way it's going to turn out is, I mean, let's face it, in that way, considering, actually not really, because I think you can leave. I think you can escape from Tarkov, so to speak, and anytime you want to. It's just a matter of getting to the exit. But from the way Hazard Zone has read, at least in the information, it really does seem like there is only one team that will survive, and they have to get the data and they're the ones that can get extracted, and everyone else dies. So that seems a lot more battle royale-ish to me. It's just that I don't think there's going to be a continuously closing circle.
Huh.
As far as I know, again, no gameplay. We've just seen the trailer, and going off the information that we have so far, when we actually see gameplay, well, maybe it does have a closing circle, and it's like, okay, this is just a battle royale with extra steps. Well, I mean, in that regard, it's almost more like Plunder from Warzone.
Huh.
I'm definitely still
so fast.
I think that's one of the little curses that can be put on you that you go out of control. It took me a while to figure that out too. I think I'm still going to get this game at launch. There are some things I'm trepidatious about, but in a lot of ways, this is definitely more of what I want from Battlefield than 1 or 5. So I'm a little more happy with it that way. But I still think there are a lot of ways that things could go wrong. But this is one of those things where it's like, okay, I want to be here from the beginning to see how they go wrong firsthand, and not just be sitting on the sidelines and being an armchair commentator. I actually want to be in the thick of it.
You want to have some legitimacy to your arguments.
Correct. Like with Battlefront 2, where it's like, oh, this game is dumb because blah blah blah. It's like, well, if you actually played it, you would know that these arguments you're making don't hold water because there's actually some differences compared to how things actually work and stuff. There's a lot of stuff like that when Battlefront 2 was, in its infancy and everything. So there's stuff like that. So things where I want to support it because I want it to be the best that it can be. I don't want to, say I'm going to boycott this because this isn't turning out the way I want it to. It's I'm here. I support you. I want this to turn out well, kind of thing. That's probably not
safe.
Probably not putting that exactly right, but
you don't want to be there whenever everything falls down, but you want to be there for its highs and its lows. So kind of like having a kid.
Yeah,
except this kid can use guns and swear. Yeah,
like I definitely understood the point there, and as I said, I get it. Like, and part of me would like to feel that it's just that was me throughout the entire life cycle of 5. It's gonna get to the point where
it's good. Everyone likes it.
Where it has the potential, and that's the thing that's probably upsets me the most, that the fact that the game actually had that potential but never was given the chance to really go that because of several decisions that both DICE and EA made, like releasing the game in the state it was to begin with, with lacking a lot of the content they were hyping up, like Firestorm. And then this event,
and then Firestorm,
okay, and then not delivering on any maps. Then they finally do that, and then they come out with the Pacific stuff, and it's like, and kind of compared to Battlefront 2, I felt around the Pacific it was starting to get to the point when Geonosis was added to Battlefront 2, where
but then it stopped.
Yeah, like the tide the tide was kind of starting to change, but it hadn't done that yet. And then they made that previously mentioned TTK change that just killed all the momentum that game had.
Was it the one where like only rifles could kill from over 25 meters?
Yeah, something like that. I don't remember exactly how it was, but it.
Do you want to remember?
No.
I will say I think a difference going into it this time is that this is all hands on deck, which I know worries some people. Is like, oh, this is all hands on deck, and this is the state that you release the beta in. I know that worries some people.
That's one of those things that could go either way, I feel.
But and you're right, it could go either way. But that's one of the things that I'm hopeful for, because some of these decisions are being made, and it's of what do we do, what do we not do. Some of these decisions for Battlefield 5 and Battlefront 2 as well have to are being made based on the fact that the team was split in half because they were working on two games at once. Honestly, the period of 2014 to 2019 for DICE, so around that time, unprecedented for DICE as far as I'm aware, because they up until then mostly they had been a one game at a time studio. I mean, there was like a weird kind of like splinter group that worked on Mirror's Edge or whatever, but I don't think that was like a significant portion of the team. I don't think so. But after a while, for a while there, DICE was putting out a game every year. 2015, Battlefront 2015. 2016, Battlefield 1. 2017, Battlefront 2, 2017. Then 2018, Battlefield 5. So when one team would be working on the main game, another team still in house would be working on DLC for the other game, and then they'd flip flop and move on. So I mean that had to have caused some. I feel like that had to have caused some problems and behind the scenes of people constantly getting shifted around. Because I can remember playing Battlefront 2 and hanging in there for Battlefront 2. And going, oh man, this is so great, and the developers being very open on Twitter and online stuff, saying, hey, yeah, we want to bring you stuff like the Droideka, but our main coding people just got shifted over to Battlefield 5 for the next 3 months because they're working on stuff over there, so we can't really give you any new units until they come back and stuff like that. Where 2042 could potentially launch in a disastrous state, similar to Battlefield 4, and that's going to be unfortunate. Oh, right in the goal. Let's go.
Nice.
And it could be an initial disaster, similar to Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4. And Portal doesn't work. Hazard Zone is not great. Stuff like that. Blah blah blah. But because
hard own, get it right.
But because they have all hands on deck and everyone is working on it, they're not going to be strapped for manpower. They are going to have everyone working on this. So I feel like the chance for if there are mistakes made, I think there is now a greater chance for things getting fixed and everything coming together because they have more people working on it compared to Battlefront 2 and Battlefield 5, where they were constantly flip-flopping team members because they are working on 2 games at once for 4 years in a row.
What they need to make sure that doesn't happen, cutting the game's life too short. That is exactly what happened with... I'm going to argue this for Titanfall 2 as well. Which are all EA games, ironically enough.
Oh, yeah.
5...
most EA games.
Battlefront 2 and Titanfall 2 have disastrously short life cycles. I mean, Titanfall 2 was arguably the worst one off.
I'm gonna disagree with that. Somewhat.
You think Battlefront 2?
At least, no. I mean, just in terms that they have disastrously short life cycles. Titanfall.
We didn't get any new content.
No. Shut up. Let me talk because this is one of those things where your argument's going to change based on what I say, and I know it. So you just need to be quiet and let me talk. Sorry. So, Titanfall 2 is like the exception to the rule because I know that really did get written short early on because the sales weren't good, and now the game is all but unplayable because people keep hacking into the servers and stuff. So that game is just and now in Apex Legends is a thing, and like hardly anyone remembers Titanfall 2 at this point, which is unfortunate. I agree. I didn't like it as much as other people in terms of the multiplayer, but I understand why people like it, and it's unfortunate the game was treated the way it was. In terms of DICE games, at least for EA, I can't speak to it's like I don't know, like Mass Effect Andromeda had multiplayer. I think I didn't play it, so if that content if that was cut off early, I don't know about that. But at least with DICE games, with the exception of like Battlefront 1. Most DICE games have... Well, okay. I guess Battlefield 1 as well. But Battlefront 2, Battlefield 5, Battlefield 4, and Battlefield 3, I think, as well, had like a 2-year... All right, here's the game. It's going to exist for this amount of time, and they are constantly updating it. The last DLC pack for Battlefield 4, which released in the fall of 2013, was released after, I'm pretty sure, after Battlefield Hardline came out, and in like the spring or summer of 2015, a year and a half after the game came out.
Oh no!
So I compare that to the life cycle of other games that come out in this industry that are annualized franchises like, say, Assassin's Creed or oh my gosh! What an epic save! What an epic save that was! Compare that to other games with a few exceptions, like Rainbow Six. I would argue Rainbow Six has gone on too long at this point, and we needed a sequel at this point because
just kill it.
Because it just needs to die at this point because they just keep making bad decision after bad decision. And it would have been better if Rainbow Six ended after like year 3, and then all these bad decisions were saved for the sequel, so that way Rainbow Six Siege would be untouched, and then the sequel would be the one everyone hates. But I'm just like, DICE games, Battlefield games, they usually have like 2-year life cycle where they go on for a long time. Battlefront 2 probably had the longest life cycle out of all of these. Could it have gone on longer? Heck yeah. Oh, I would have loved for Battlefront 2 to still be getting new content to this day. However, compare it to a lot of other games on the market, Battlefront 2, especially for launching in the way it did and getting the hate it did, Battlefront 2 is one of the most I would argue, one of the more successful games of the last console generation because it launched in a disastrous state. Everyone hated it, and the love and care that was put into that game and the fact that it survived for 2 years after the fact is crazy. That game came out in the fall of 2017 and received its final content update in 2020.
Oh, it did. What? It was the what?
Because it was
in 2020.
It was Age of Rebellion. It was the Age of Rebellion supremacy. It was May 2020. So fall of 2017 to May of 2020. Battlefront 2 could have kept going, I agree, but that is not a bad life cycle, if you ask me, compared to other games in the industry.
But how much content did we really get? I mean, I'm not going to underplay some of the stuff that was added. I'd argue that the Age of Resistance and the Age of War clones were pretty good. I would say it stopped after Age of Resistance, personally. Well, even then, I'm kind of on the edge because new weapons are a really big deal for me.
And also,
go in ball.
That's another thing. If you're counting it stopping at the Age of Resistance, you're only cutting it 6 months from when less than 6 months from when Age of Rebellion was released, because Age of Resistance was November, December of 2019 when Rise of Skywalker came out to tie in. So that's still so in the grand scheme of things, that's not long. So that's not too far removed from when it actually did stop. So, because Age of Rebellion was not as well fleshed out for obvious reasons, as has been discussed before. But
come on, FIFA game 771-793.
But again, going back to my earlier point of DICE working on 2 games at once consistently from the year 2015 to the year 2019, and them continuously updating Battlefront 2 while working on other games for 2.5 years, almost 3. That's not bad. That's pretty good.
There's something still bothering me. I'm trying to figure out what it was.
So I feel like DICE, you're not giving, at the very least, maybe not EA, but DICE games at the very least, you're not giving them enough credit, I don't think. Going back to we as gamers are spoiled rotten nowadays.
Oof.
Thing.
I mean, I guess. Let's see. We got a new Mega Man game.
Not to mention all that stuff that was added, free, absolutely free. You did not have to pay a dime for any of that
Celebration Edition. There's Celebration Edition.
Yeah, but you could have bought that for two. You could have bought a used copy of Battlefront 2 for $10 at GameStop and still could have gotten all that stuff. So,
yeah. I just wanted to mock. I don't know. Jimothy.
Well, no, I'm sure there is someone out there that probably would have done that. So no, that was a fair rebuttal, but.
Got spikes. Give me the ball.
So going back to going back to the point about 2042, that's part of why I am optimistic about it, because DICE typically their games typically have a pretty good lifespan. So with the way things could potentially be going, I feel like 2042 has even if it doesn't launch in the best state, it has a maybe not bright, but I'd say that it has an optimistic future ahead of it because of the way previous DICE games have turned out and how long they are supported for. Another point towards that is that in the pre-order bonuses, if you pre-order it, you get access to what they're calling the Year 1 Pass, which I'm not exactly sure what that is, but it is called the Year 1.
It means all 4 seasons for the next year. If this is anything like,
but calling it Year 1 does seem to signify that there will be a Year 2. So,
here's the thing, though. Like, I mean, obviously they're setting up for the potential of a Year 2, but we don't know if there's gonna be a Year 2 because it's gonna depend on
sales,
how successful the game is when it launches. And throughout the year, so I feel like the Year 1 is more of a,
placeholder almost.
Yeah,
it's kind of like, I remember there was some game. I think it was actually it's any game that has the number 1 after its title, like calling it Halo 1 when there isn't even a Halo 2 out yet. That's ridiculous. Because what if that fails? Then it's just going to be hilarious.
And that also reminds me of stuff about Battlefield 5 as well, although it's even less obscure and not anything in the marketing. So it's not like EA or DICE were saying stuff that didn't end up happening. But are you familiar of how do you say Temporeal? The guy that data mines Battlefield
that guy.
Stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But I think I understand what he could do.
Yeah, like he was data mining a lot of the stuff for Battlefield 5, and I remember him finding things like booster packs for potential that didn't end up happening because Chapter 6 was the last one, and like he found stuff for like Chapter 7, 8, and 9. Of course, that was only data mined, so it's not really official, but it does kind of remind me of that, in that, you know, like they have started to maybe think about a potential year 2, but how that is gonna look, or even if it's gonna exist, is just gonna, you know, like, not something they're gonna talk about now for obvious reasons, but, you know, like, just one of those things where they have to wait and see what happens with the game and during its first year, if EA will allow them to to continue supporting the game or not, essentially. So it's one of those. It could happen, but we don't know. And
that's fair.
Yeah, and that's like how I am, like, after the whole, because I actually don't know if I really said that out loud now, but like, me skipping out on 2042, as I said, is partly due with the fact that I wish I didn't pick up Battlefield 5 at launch. I wished I picked it up around the time both of you picked it up, because...
that was rude. I just got hammered.
Really? Nice.
Because
there was so much more content and stuff added, and they made all those changes.
And you didn't have to witness all the drama with the game.
CTK
and exactly. So it's just one of those where, based on their last game, I'm just not. And it's even funny that, considering I do still think I do still really like Battlefield 5 as a game. I don't like it. I didn't like it as a live service though. And then, you know, going back to 2042, where there's just a lot of design choices they made that doesn't gel with me. So it's just one of those. Yeah, no, I'm gonna have to. I don't know. Maybe they do some sort of rework, like akin to the progression rework they did in Battlefront 2, or like
overhauling the specialist is what you're referring to. Or is there something else?
Yes,
far
and
more.
No. Like I actually don't mind the specialists too much. My problem is more the whole, you know, you can have like any weapon and any gadget where it kind of makes some weird loadout options that doesn't
break
really like.
Isn't that a conversation we had on Meta?
Kind of, but also on a bigger scale. You do have like, if you look at classes in how they used to work, they had pretty defined roles and certain strengths and weaknesses. Like, I mean, like, picking a class was essentially picking, like, you know, like
your play
playing,
style.
Rock, paper, scissors. And not just classes, but with the whole dynamic between infantry, land vehicles, and air vehicles. And then you have the whole class thing on like a even smaller scale. So with the whole more open loadout thing, like it messes a lot with that dynamic. Like the example I remember using in the beta, you know, like, oh, I can't tell who has the ammo
The
pack
ammo.
or the health pack or the medic bag, and lo and behold, like the trailer that showcased like the remaining specialists has a guy that can like call in some sort of supply crate. Like, huh, okay, that's actually interesting. In that they kind of have an operator that sort of solves that problem.
But why was that problem created to begin with?
Yeah, kind of, and it's not just on that. It also is like if I'm say driving a tank, I want to quickly I have a need to know which one is carrying a rocket launcher, and that's not immediately recognizable. I don't think, at least. I don't remember you actually having a visible rocket launcher on your back.
Regardless, he's talking. So the way he's, I think you get this, but I'm just going to say it again just to make sure I'm on the same page. You're talking in terms of, as a vehicle player, targeting. You have a list of targets that you want to take out first. First is the tanks.
Yeah, like a
and then secondly
list, or,
is yeah.
Or you know those. Oh shoot! One of those has a rocket launcher. I'm
right.
gonna back up a little bit.
No. Yeah, I understand. I understand what he's saying, but at least from what I'm remembering from the beta, I feel like, and this is one of the things where they've changed it to where it actually works the same as it used to. It's just slightly different. Because used to, you'd look and go, okay, that's an engineer class because he's got the engineer skin on, so I know there's the potential that guy has a rocket launcher or anti-tank mines or whatever. But when he had the rocket launcher on, but if he had a rocket launcher equipped, you wouldn't necessarily see that on his person. It would just be
Because it'd be
an invisible. It'd be a thing you'd pull out of an invisible pocket dimension when he switches to it. In at least for the beta, as far as I remember, you would actually see the different equipment that the person would have on them, like in Call of Duty, where if that person has a rocket launcher equipped, then the rocket launcher is on their back. So there is, at least as far as I remember, a visual indicator to say this person has a rocket launcher because it is visibly there on their back. So at least in that regard, that is not actually an issue, I don't think. Now, the ammo and medic bag thing, that is a little different. I agree. I feel like there has to be something that they either haven't said, or there is going to be a way for them to implement that visually, where you will be able to tell who has what, and they just haven't. Honestly, I don't think they've done this, but they really just need to do like a Reddit AMA or something, where it's like where it's like you may not get, not every answer may not be a straight answer, but I feel like, at least in some cases, hey, is there a way that we can tell who has medic and ammo bags? Like, that is something we are working on. Yes, at least you'd at least get some sort of confirmation that way, as opposed to the last updated information we have is from their little beta postmortem.
Yeah, and and another thing is that, like, something that just gives me question marks in regards to 2042, considering they have the whole specialist system, which of course is inspired by hero-based shooters, where, like in terms of Siege, if you pick, say, Thatcher, that determines your gadget and your loadout to a certain extent, at least. But in 2042, they have like the whole specialist mechanic, while also kind of adopting. I don't want to say create a class completely from.
But yeah, because there's no perks or anything, but it is similar to that. Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I feel like there's just a lot of ideas that, looked at in a vacuum, I think could be interesting in terms of like a Battlefield game, but it's just that at least the impression I got from playing the beta is that they seem to have taken a lot of these ideas, kind of just mashed them together, and then
they're not really thought all the way through yet.
Like, yeah, and to be fair, I suppose there was going to be a degree of that, like, regardless of how well thought out it was, considering, you know, like they've had classes since 1942, and they haven't really tinkered with that system at all.
The most they've tinkered with them is renaming them for Hardline, and yeah, like, in a couple occasions, and that's about it.
Honestly, I would even go farther than that and say that, you know, like starting with Bad Company 2, they kind of like the classes started to take the form that I think most people are familiar. Like, I think 1942, for instance, had like 6 or 7 classes. And I know Battlefield 2 had 7 classes, and Bad Company 1 had 5 classes. There's always been some sort of tinkering with the amount of classes and what each classes do. And starting with Bad Company 2, they kind of, or technically 2142, they kind of condensed all of those into 4 classes. So, like, there's always been a degree of tinkering with the classes, but 2042 is the first time where they've like made a major change to that. So, as I said, I definitely understand from the developer's point of view that maybe, regardless, it would probably have been a bit of a very different. How should I put it? It would have been weird for everyone regardless, because changing like a thing like that after so many years, and going back to the whole meta thing, I mean, that's also one of those things where I wouldn't be surprised if there's even question marks from the developer's perspective, because they won't know for sure
until it's really out in the wild and everyone gets their hands on it.
Yeah, exactly, because it's so new and different.
Mm-hmm. One thing I could definitely see... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I wasn't. I was not.
Okay. So one thing I could definitely see happening there when it actually gets out in the wild into people's hands and they really see people starting to mess with things, and they kind of, oh, this does not work the way we thought it would work moment is, and I think this would maybe in a lot of cases alleviate some people's apprehension of some stuff and go, oh, this isn't as different as we thought it was, is the ability to equip any weapon with any specialist. I think maybe that I understand why they decided to go with that, because it does offer a lot of options for the sandbox and for playability in terms of, well, now if someone wants to, someone can equip an LMG with the zipline guy and be just zipping around on top of the big building on that beta map with his zip line, be mowing people down to the LMG, and then jump off the building, reload in midair, then use the zip line, and then use the zip line to grab onto the building again, and then zip back up there and rinse, repeat, do stuff like that. Or you could run around with a sniper rifle as the medic lady, and and heal yourself as you sit in your little sniper nest. It's going to allow for a lot of different areas of play with that, but initially is a good idea, I feel like, and they're on the right track there. But, there is such a thing as too much freedom.
Yeah.
So I feel like something that could happen is like 2-3 months after launch, they look at everything. They're like, okay, Battlefield is all about chaos, but this is crazy. We need to rein things in a little bit. This is a little much. So I could definitely see it where they start locking certain weapons to certain classes based on the build or the ability of the operator, like the zipline guy. He can only use SMGs, and because he's supposed to be a fast moving guy, so he can only use SMGs, and then from there, it's classes again. The classes are just vastly different than from what we've seen in the past, but it's still classes. It is a little closer. It is a little closer to the traditional Battlefield. It is a little closer to the traditional Battlefield classes people are used to. The one thing there would be would you lock some of the gadgets to certain operators again, certain specialists again, and then it really would just be classes, or would you still allow the medic lady to carry around a ammo bag, a rocket launcher with her defibs or stuff like that? That would be the one question. But I feel like maybe if you start locking certain weapons to certain specialists, like the support guy that has the auto turret, he can only use carbines or something like that. And then the guy that has the ghillie suit on, because some of the at least in terms of the artistic and the artistic design of them, and the way that they're designed, and the way that even the recommended loadout is for them in the beta, because it's like, this guy's recommended for support, this one's recommended for recon, stuff like that. I feel like they, at least design-wise, they're already drifting into that area. It's just that everything was the entire sandbox was opened up and allowed to be tinkered with, instead of things being arbitrarily blocked off like that. So I feel like maybe if they make some of those changes, then some people are going to be going, okay, maybe now I'm starting to get the hang of this, and I'm liking this better. We'll see if that is something that ends up changing.
I think it's the weapons I'm okay with. It's the gadgets I'm more scared of. Gadgets are like,
yeah. I mean,
I'm not gonna say that they're not the biggest TTK, but they definitely affect gameplay the most. Hang on, I need a minute to formulate how I need to word this.
While you do that, I think another, and this is going to be a very contentious thing within the community, because I have seen a lot of people going, they're trying too much to make this like Warzone,
Call of Duty, yeah,
and they're trying to make it too much like Call of Duty, too much by Warzone. Oh, this plays exactly the same as Warzone. First of all, no, it does not. It feels completely different from Warzone. Have you First of all, compared to the beta, Warzone works. First of all, your weapons don't reset every time you die. So that was different, first of all. Second, and second of all, there's not as there now. They did add bullet drop off to Warzone, but but the bullet drop off is not near as bad as it is in Battlefield. Forget just 2042 Battlefield games in general. So that is different. I feel like there's a lot of people that it's a big open map, and there's operators and stuff. People are it's like Warzone. However, so in some of those areas, I do not agree with their sentiments at all. However, in other areas like the UI and some of the choices, like here's Hazard Zone, and a couple other things, and having the selection of and moving towards specialists as the new form of classes and stuff like that, and them having their own personality instead of just being random grunt skins like in Battlefield 3 and 4 and etc. In that area, I'm like, I kind of do see them kind of trying to emulate Warzone, but I mean, Warzone is one of the most popular games right now, so why wouldn't you want to? I mean, Warzone has arguably taken the Battle Royale crown from Fortnite, which took the Battle Royale crown from PUBG. So
question mark.
Question mark. I mean, there's no. That was a good shot on goal. So I mean, considering the player base there and the amount of revenue that comes in, why wouldn't you want a piece of that pie? And if you can get a little piece of that pie while carving out your own unique niche of that pie and saying, hey, here's how we're doing things. Maybe you want to maybe you want to jump on board. So making a couple different things like that be a little more similar to Warzone, just so you can grab some of those more casual players. At least in base concept, I do not see as a bad thing. Execution is totally a different thing, but I understand maybe where they're coming from with that. So I feel like maybe some of this negativity from the community is also maybe just gatekeeping. But granted, can I really complain about that? Because I've essentially kind of been doing that with Battlefield 1 and 5, going, these aren't real Battlefield games, and only the casuals like these. If these aren't real Battlefield fans, they're blah blah blah, and they need to play 3 and 4 to be real. But it's like I've been guilty of a little bit of that myself. So
yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe some of those more aesthetic changes and stuff like that maybe is where some of this is coming from. And maybe once people have their hands on it and they get used to it, then it will feel a little bit more like Battlefield. So I don't know.
Yeah. What was I going to say? I had a train of thought, and then you derailed it with your Warzone extended universe stupidity.
Well, I mean, that's why I said you think of what you were going to say and focus on that while I do this. You weren't supposed to pay attention to me.
And then I got distracted.
Well, that's your own fault. I gave you an opportunity to come up with your next thought, and you squandered it.
I know I was going on the lines of gadgets transform gameplay the most.
Right.
That's what it was. So, while guns do most of the killing, I'd argue that, the C4, the rockets, the motion sensors, the spawn beacons, which I don't even know where those went.
Well, I think they were disabled for the beta. I think they're still going to be around. I think they were just disabled in the beta.
I couldn't remember what they said. But those affect the gameplay, the most. The match outcome. Imagine if we were doing... I don't know, Operation Metro, because that's an overused thing. Imagine if we did Operation Metro, but no one had a med kit and no one could revive. It was just guns, guns, guns.
It'd be over very quickly.
Yes. And it probably wouldn't be that fun.
Well, but that's going to be another thing, considering one of the operators has that,
But can't you even call it in unless there's a roof, an open roof above you?
What are you talking about? One of the operators has defibs as her ability. It's to heal people. Actually,
all medics have defibs.
Well, yeah. Forget that. If your squad mate is down, you can revive them. Everyone has defibs, not just the medics.
But it's more so the crates I'm referring to. The crates, the spawn beacons, and the motion sensors. Those passive kind of abilities that transform Battlefield from a big first-person shooter into Battlefield. Ammo crates to resupply your weapons and your gadgets, more importantly. Especially when you run out of them. Medic crates because you are low and you need health. Repair tools because...
I don't understand exactly where you're going with this, because all that stuff is still going to be in the game.
But no, but most people who are going to play this are probably going to want to go for kills. So there's going to be very few instances of actual teamwork happening.
I hate to break it. I hate to break this to you, but most people in Battlefield go for kills anyway. And that's what they go for. They just happen to use. It's like you think that the snipers that hide in the corner of a map at the spawn beacon on top of the building, where you can only get by jumping out of your helicopter and parachuting there. You think that they are really? It's like, I mean, those guys are all over the place all the time, and their priority is to get kills. That's why they're parking themselves in the hardest to get spot possible, So even if they do die, they have their spawn beacon up there. So they're still using the equipment the way it's supposed to be used. It's annoying, yeah, but they're still using the equipment the way it's supposed to be used. That's what a spawn beacon is for. So people can spawn in at that point without it having to be an arbitrary. Here's where the developers decide you would spawn in on the map.
Teamwork has kind of been a weird thing with Battlefield in that it's gotten progressively worse.
That I'll agree with.
And I mean, I even remember going from Bad Company 2 to Battlefield 3, and it was just completely different in how, players actually work together. Sure, it definitely happened more in Bad Company 2 than I remembered of 3, and I think a huge part of that was just that Battlefield 3 was the mainstream game, so to say, the one that everyone that didn't pick up Modern Warfare 3 decided to pick up.
To be contrarian that year, they got Battlefield 3 as opposed to MW3.
Yeah. But at the same time, I don't know if it's due to the way the game is designed or the fact that it was everyone's first experience and there was only a couple of days of it, but I think the amount of teamwork in 2042 was almost non-existent. I don't know if it's that due to how the game is designed or just that it was everyone's first experience with the game and how its specialists and loadouts work, and the fact that we only had a couple of days.
I feel like
I don't want to say it's the game has completely killed teamwork, but what I played from the beta is teamwork has kind of been progressively non-existent in Battlefield, but this is the least amount I've seen so far.
I'm gonna chalk a lot of that up to it being the beta, because I've always noticed a distinct lack of teamwork in the beta, because that in the Battlefield betas, because that is when you get a lot of the randos in trying it because it's free to see if it's for them, and then maybe they decide if it is or not. The Battlefield 1 beta was the exact same way, and
the Modern Warfare 2019 beta.
Yeah,
I mean, I just remember that I did not like Ground War at all,
because everyone was in for it for themselves. Yeah, but then
I played it in the full game and I was like, this is actually better than it was in the beta.
Yeah, because you weed out the casual of casuals with the betas, because it's free. And also, it's the first couple days. People are learning how to play it, especially if you have a casual one that's never played Battlefield before. Not to mention that, again, people are going, they've limited loadouts. People are also complaining. It's this is the most different. This is a Battlefield game that's really different for the first time in a long time. So people were also trying to acclimate themselves to the changes as well. So I think that also led a little bit more to on lone wolfing it and some changes there, because everyone was trying to reacclimate themselves to how things worked. And unlike say the beta for Battlefield 4, because that was one of the complaints when the game came out, besides the fact that it didn't work, is that it's just kind of a prettier version of Battlefield 3. There's not really that much different to it. So the squad roles were not that different. The classes had not changed all that much. The gameplay had just been tweaked a little bit. The maps were new. But other than that, it was just, Battlefield 3-2. So... Oh, wow!
Nice.
Oh, wow.
So, I feel like... And again, this is me being optimistic. This is me...
Battlefield 358 days over 2.
This is me being optimistic, but I feel like some of that was definitely due to the beta. And when the full game comes out, people will learn. Again, there will be a learning curve because the specialists are new. So classes work differently. There will be that learning curve, but I feel like that teamwork will make a resurgence. It may still be not as prevalent as it has been in previous games, because I will agree that like Battlefield 1, I still don't think people work together the way that they used to. Battlefield 5, people didn't work together the exact same way that they used to. But I went back to Battlefield 4 recently because haven't had that Battlefield bug. And, playing through Locker and Metro and stuff, and people were working together fine. So I feel like maybe there are some, and I would say that 1 and 5 were definitely more popular with, again, this is me gatekeeping again. So again, we're all guilty of it. But I feel like those games in some ways encourage the randos, the casuals to come in and kind of treat it like Call of Duty. So honestly, if 2042 changes up some of that stuff and brings in casuals, but with the way maybe behind the scenes with their design docs, DICE has things set up to where they feel like in the long run, the changes that they've made will actually for once encourage the randos and the casuals to really learn the game, as opposed to just running around and shooting people and not helping out. Because it's like something I've been seeing talked about recently for whatever reason is a lot of people stealing tanks in Battlefield 5. Apparently that's been a problem a lot recently, where people keep stealing tanks because it's like, because for one thing that's one of the issues I had with both 1 and, because also another issue I had with 1 and 5 is that the engineer class just was non-existent in those games because vehicles took such a back seat compared to other games because they were so different. Because it's like the only way you could really, well, I mean, that was one of the changes that they made, is that you could self-repair vehicles in 1 and 5, where you hold down the down on the D-pad, and you could repair your vehicle very slowly. Now, eventually, I do think they did add the repair tool back to Battlefield 5, I think.
And it's in 1.
Where is it in 1?
It's with the support class.
Games.
Oh, that's right. They gave it to the support. Yeah, again, because they
they basically made the assault class its own thing, the medic class its own thing, and they made the support kind of the help class, and they made recon useless.
Yeah, I because that's how it was in Bad Company 1, I think. Except they had health instead of ammo.
Yeah. Yep.
It's weird how classes have gone back and forth.
Yeah. So I mean, should we really be based on that history? Should we really be surprised by the way they work in 2042? Because they've changed so much already.
Because it's not my Battlefield. So we're gonna be like that old Battlefield veteran.
They ruined Battlefield, exactly. Yeah. So I didn't realize that they had it in 1. I remember that they did add it into 5 because there's like because it was a really old-fashioned blowtorch. But I didn't realize that they had it in 1. That's something that it's completely.
And what made it useful in 5 is that it was mapped to your build tool.
Yeah.
So it actually got...
well, see, no wonder I didn't find it there.
Because I'd argue it's even better in that game than it was in 4. It can still do everything that it does, and you can also have something to like destroy tanks safer-ishly. Be that the occasional like an anti-tank mine. Yeah, the anti-tank grenade launcher. The Chad lunge mine.
Yes.
And I wish people would blow up in the meat showers.
In the what now?
Meat showers. Now whenever you explode someone and like all their little chunks get all over you. Great feeling.
Okay. That's maybe a little too graphic.
It's Battlefield, baby.
Battlefield World at War.
Oh, even World at War didn't have that many. I guess it was pretty graphic, but anything, I just laughed at it. Like, holy crap, this is kind of over the top. I like it. Okay, so I just thought I had this idea since Prentice is playing old games. Doom. Pick it up. You have no excuses now. You play DuckTales.
Well, yeah, but I have history with DuckTales.
Well,
It's not like I randomly decided, hey, let's play this old game. There was something tying into making that purchase.
Yeah, but here's the difference between Doom and DuckTales.
I can turn it historical. It was one of the first FPS games.
It was the first good FPS game because Wolfenstein 3D doesn't count.
And you play FPS games, so I think
Yeah.
that
You should
in
at
a
least see
weird
the.
roundabout way it makes sense.
Oh, I don't think any of the current ports have online multiplayer. I know Quake does, which is the first 3D FPS. And there's a difference.
If I'm going to play Doom, I'm not going to play the old one. I'm going to play the new one.
No, play the old
that's
one.
fair.
Play both. Play both. They're both so good. They're both good for different reasons.
I will say the original one has aged really well,
bit.
actually.
Yeah.
The only thing that's gonna be really hard to get around is the fact that you can't aim up or down.
Yep.
Oh, it's just left and right. That's funny.
It's just left and right, and the game adjusts for height differences.
Yeah.
There are height differences, but it's more so like you're on a two-dimensional plane. It's really interesting. It's kind of hard to explain without you having at least to try it.
But at the same time, only sticking with Doom 2016 isn't a bad call either, I would argue.
You can get there's the Slayers collection, which gets you 2016 and the other games for like $20. Doom 1, Doom 2, Doom 3, which is a completely different beast.
Okay. Seeing that guy's emblem, forget that. I'm not going to play Doom. I'm going to play Killzone.
Yes!
Yeah! I need to pick that up.
Bring
I
back
recently
I miss it. I miss it so much.
Bring back Resistance, man. That was interesting looking at it. And all the weird like
that
World
was
War
actually
II.
a pretty fun game as well.
I feel like before they bring it back and make a new game, we need a collection.
Yeah.
Because they're stranded on PS3.
There was a Killzone collect. Oh, you're talking about.
But they're on PS. But they're stuck on PS3. Well, either both really.
Yeah.
Because the only PS4.
Shadowfall,
yeah, because Shadowfall's on PS4, but the rest of the games are either stuck on PS3 or Vita.
Yep.
Resistance is definitely stuck on PS3, so we need a PS4 port.
Oh, we need a new Killzone trilogy port because there was a collection with a remaster of the first one, and also 2 and 3, and it's cost like $50 because they printed it in like no quantity whatsoever. No. Like, I almost picked it up at my local game store, then I saw the price tag. And I nearly had a heart attack.
What was it?
50.
Oh, okay. So basically close to how much it was worth when it first came out.
It was probably like 30 or 40. Because it was two PS3 games and a PS2 game. With trophies and, I think, online? But I could be wrong.
I thought both Killzone 1 and 2 were PS2 games.
Nope. Killzone 2 was a PS3 launch.
Oh.
Or not launch, but remember, you should look at some of the E3 footage for Killzone, because it's just a trailer.
Oh,
but
yeah,
it looks
it's a total
like real
lie.
gameplay. Yeah, it's a total lie.
Yeah, it's one of those early, this is nothing like the game, it's a total lie trailers.
I would call it bullshotting, but bull videoing would be better.
I mean, yeah, it is, but I do find it actually like funny that the finished game looks so much better than that even. It's almost like they didn't need to do that in the first place.
Yeah. I like how you just take it from me.
Out. Yeah, thank you. Did you get an assist on that?
I did.
Nice.
But I had activated that 3 seconds before, so the fact that you took it from me is what deactivated it.
You're welcome. Welcome. Yeah, we need Killzone Resistance back. And it's actually, speaking of PS3 games, I'm kind of thinking there might be some kind of like thing at Insomniac, maybe with like a skeleton crew, to port things over to the PS4/PS5. I mean,
why do you think that?
They've been posting a lot of screenshots. I'm not just random screenshots. It's not like a birthday of any game. It's just a screenshot of what was that one that Fuse, was it?
Fuse. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Which probably needs a reimagining, not even a remake. Like
that's one that's one that I'm fine with them leaving in the dustbin. That doesn't need to.
Yeah.
They don't need to do anything with that.
No. Fuse director's cut.
Well, then it'd just be Overstrike. But if Insomniac posting random screenshots or whatever on Twitter, that's not ever. You should never take that as an indication that they're working on something.
No.
They've even said that multiple times, that we're just doing this to celebrate our heritage. It is not a wink or a nod or anything that we are working on anything, because they've tweeted out about Spyro before.
Yeah.
So they've tweeted out about that original Doom clone that they made way back in the day, even before. So Disruptor. So I mean, that is definitely not an indication that they're working on that. I have no idea. They may for all I know.
No, that was Universal's.
That doesn't surprise me. It belonged to either them or Universal. Wouldn't have surprised me.
I think it belonged to Universal, but I think Activision might have it.
Yeah,
I can't confirm
Activision
that.
Having. Considering what happened with Crash and Spyro, that wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So never take anything Insomniac posting on Twitter as a confirmation that they're working on something. They just like to celebrate what they worked on.
I haven't finished yet.
Okay.
There was also a lot of, looking back at it after playing Tools of Destruction, Rift Apart has a lot of nods to that game. Like a lot.
Yeah, like Ardolus is like a 1-for-1 copy almost, or something of Ardolus and Tools.
It's kind of a 1-for-1 copy, but they added more to it. Zordu Prison is back. It's a bit different, but it's definitely seen a lot more activity with Emperor Nefarious.
Thanks. Oh wait, no, that was our. That was our goal. That was our goal. I wasn't paying attention. I thought that was their goal. Never mind.
Yeah, get your head in the game, man. Yeah, there was a lot of Tools of Destruction and a little bit of a Crack in Time. Mainly with the, what's the name of that species? The ones on Torn 4. I can't remember what they're... The Vollards.
Right, yeah. I see that I feel like it's just them taking design inspiration from some of their more popular games. I don't think that's like, oh, look at how much design inspiration they took from this previous game. That totally means that they're working on a port.
Yeah, no, I don't.
I'd buy a Tools of Destruction at the very least, remake or remaster. Just because there was a lot of tools.
I mean, that's something I definitely want. But I don't think that means that they're actively working on that.
It's really a Quest for Booty mobile port. We just were too dumb to realize it.
I feel like it is potentially believable that Insomniac is working on something like that behind the scenes, because Insomniac is big. They have a lot of teams working on a lot of stuff. However,
yeah, who's on the Wolverine team? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
So for one thing, the Wolverine team doesn't actually exist yet because they're in pre-production.
Oh, okay.
So
the 2023 release date seems fast, though. I mean, I know these guys work fast, but
yeah. So I mean, they're in pre-production. I think the Spider-Man 2 team is probably going to move on and work on Wolverine after Spider-Man. That's just a guess. But I mean, they have a lot of teams working on a lot of different stuff. But I don't know. Sony has studios dedicated to doing remasters and ports and stuff.
Blueprint.
Well, okay. So here's another thing. So now the rumor is that Bluepoint is working on Bloodborne 2.
What?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be FromSoft?
Well, so Sony owns the IP.
I know, but wouldn't that make more sense for it to be?
But so it seems like potentially that Sony feels like Bloodborne is their game and not FromSoft's game, because a lot of Bloodborne was very heavily influenced by design notes given by a team working at Sony, and then FromSoft put it, and then FromSoft kind of just did their bidding in some areas. I don't know the specifics because I'm not a Souls guy, so I don't know the complete inner workings. Woo, good job. I don't know the complete inner workings. This is just going off stuff that I've heard on podcasts and stuff. But Bloodborne has always been Sony's IP, so it's always been they don't necessarily need FromSoft to make a sequel, but for the longest time it has been why wouldn't you get FromSoft? But considering what Bluepoint just did with Demon's Souls Remastered, they are already in the proper mindset.
You think they know how to do a Souls-like game?
Well, it's. I mean, I think that would make sense. But of course,
that's my issue.
But this is not me speculating. This is coming from someone that said Wolverine was being worked on. No one believed him, and then Wolverine turned out to be real. So, this is that person saying this.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, that does lend a lot
credibility.
A lot of credibility to something that already sounded like it would make
and they
sense.
said that they weren't working on, and Bluepoint has said they're not working on a remake or a remaster. They're working on their own thing. So Bloodborne 2 would be their own thing.
Anything on that Project Blue Box thing? I haven't been.
There is still nothing. That day by day, I keep thinking that's actually just a big scam.
What if it's like a crappy FMV game?
That would be hysterical. Because I think their little like teaser app or whatever is even delisted now. So
I'm gonna check now. I'm gonna check. It should be on my wish list.
At the very least, they have not updated it in a hot minute.
It's still on.
Okay, is it?
It's still on.
They're just not doing anything with it.
Yeah, nothing's. Well, I remember Kojima was busy wrapping up Death Stranding DX.
Oh my gosh, it's a war zone out here. People blowing up left and right.
I thought we were playing Rocket League.
Yeah. What the heck? I want to play Assassin's Creed Uno.
You know, that actually would be kind of funny if all the Uno cards were Assassin's Creed themed. I mean, they do that with Rayman, so.
Yeah, and Just Dance.
And Just Dance, yes, of course.
And Phoenix, whatever the crap. Phoenix as in F-E-N-X.
Immortals Phoenix Rising.
Yeah. You ever get so lazy that you can't spell a word, so you just pronounce like the last syllable? That's me on a constant basis. My mind is nothing but an empty void for cursed thoughts. And women I'll never be able to date.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner at least.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'd definitely like those PS3 Ratchets to be ported. But I think it's definitely possible. I just don't necessarily know if it's imminent. If it's going to happen, it's at the very least a year away, because I think if that's something that's going to happen, we're going to wait and see how Rift Apart does, and I feel like it's done well. So if that's happening, then they're probably in the early stages of getting that together. And if it does happen, I don't know if Insomniac would be handling it themselves, because has any PlayStation studio worked on the port work of their old game to the new software to the new system? I don't think they have.
Not that I know of.
The one and only is The Last of Us Remastered. That's the only one.
But that's because they needed to. I'm pretty sure that's just because
they were learning
to handle on the PS4.
Exactly, they used that as
so it would make sense to use their hit game from last generation that really didn't get that.
And the other thing with that is that I don't think they even originally intended to release that. They just started working on that as let's start toying with this, and then they got far enough along. It was like, okay, let's go ahead and do this. So.
Yeah, the only other thing I can think of would be the Killzone HD port, but that's literally the only one I can think of besides The Last of Us.
It would definitely be cool if Insomniac did it themselves. I think that would because they would definitely put the
and they I think they would know best how to get that game to work.
Yeah, they probably would. But
because remember, these guys are really good with optimizing their games to run on that specific piece of hardware.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, but just based on history, I don't know if
I wouldn't say it's impossible. I would just say it's unlikely.
Correct. Yeah, and just because they're posting about something on Twitter doesn't mean that they're working on anything. So. Just keep that in mind.
Now, if they usually weren't doing posts like that, and then suddenly out of the blue posted something about Resistance, then that would be suspicious. But they do that on a very regular basis.
And you know what the funny thing is? You know what the funny thing is that they do that on a regular basis, and they say we don't post something on Twitter to tease. We're just doing this to celebrate our legacy. But that means that on the occasion, they may actually be posting on Twitter to tease what they're working on, because
no one will know.
And no one will know, because I know what it feels like to be working on something I'm excited about and want to tell people, but I can't. So it's like, all right, here's like a really cryptic teaser of something I'm working on. It's like, it's my camera because I'm in the middle of filming something, or it's some random background minifigures. It's like, what project is this for? Question mark. But no one's going to know until the actual thing is out. So I totally understand that feeling, and it would not surprise me if they would do that. But again, it's one of those things. But no one would actually know, so they can get away with it. So who knows? Maybe there's an off chance that you're right. They are working on ports of tools in a crack in time, and that's why they've been doing some of these postings. But we won't know that until it actually happens, and they're never going to tell us. That's why they are posting that. So
it's the perfect crime.
It is.
And you'll all think I'm just going crazy. I'm going senile already. That whole Chris Pratt Mario thing was just a lie, and I'm weird. None of that is true, except for that last part.
It would be funny if the whole animated Mario thing was just a collective fever dream we all had, and it's not real. It's just an SNL. It's an SNL sketch that we all took too seriously.
I mean, Elon Musk Wario happened, so.
He's got it with the stickiness.
Got it. Go for it, Loka. Do it.
Dang it.
Oops.
I mean, that would be hilarious if we all just streamed the same thing, and what that would go to prove. Would we all be in the Matrix secretly?
Well, so yeah, actually, now that I've said that as a joke, but Loka, there is the dream.
Oh no. What dream? Is this the G? Is this the Bionicle G3?
It's the Bionicle. It's not the G. It's not the G3 dream. It's just the dream that every Bionicle fan has of walking into the store and just finding Bionicle on store shelves. Yeah. Usually it's the old stuff. It's not even new stuff. On the occasion, it will be something new, but most of the time, everyone just dreams about finding the old stuff on shelves again. So.
Yeah, the stuff that one missed.
Yeah, like someone posted in the chat the other day about finding a used Elec in pristine condition that had no cracked limbs at all, and it's like, oh my gosh, such a rarity nowadays. No!
Oh no!
Oh, the save! Dexter with the save! The epic save!
Holy crap.
That was awesome.
Explosions! No!
Overtime. Tied up 0-0.
0-0. Get it right. Playing football.
With cars, so I feel like we can use whatever terminology we want here.
Yeah, I'm gonna go nuff, like the French.
Oh, that's the French. They have their own problems to deal with. Like the 20 different revolutions they had that one year.
Well, it was more like scattered over a handful of years, but yeah.
Again, I still blame the French.
Oh no, I'm going super fast.
Ah, I got blown up!
No.
Oh, Dexter with the epic save again!
Go! Yeah! That's how you do it.
Yeah, see, this guy came in, and I booted him out of the way, and then he just came in and knocked it in for us.
Yay.
So what do we think, boys? Do we want to call it there? We've been going for almost 3 hours.
I think I'm with
good.
you.
I'm good with that.
I'm tired. I have to go yell at my computer, or more accurately, my friends, so that way we can go play Super Mario Party. My voice still hurts from last night. Which actually isn't that much different, but figured I should mention it.
That was definitely a good discussion session.
I got sad.
So at this point, I'm not sure if we'll really have another opportunity to talk about 2042 before it launches, because it's pretty imminent. So that'll be a good. This will be a good one to go back to list as all right. Here were our final thoughts before the game came out, and in 2 months we'll see how things shaped out. So, and then of course there were my shenanigans with Call of Duty Mobile.
I still don't believe that was a real thing. Rorik isn't real. Ghost was just a myth.
Rourke isn't real. He can't hurt you. Then Rourke grabs you on the beach. There's not gonna be any ghosts. We're gonna take them out together. Gosh, the ending of that game. I feel like had that not happened, people would have just been whatever on that campaign, and no one ever would have talked about it again. Yeah. But it ends on a cliffhanger that's never getting a sequel, so everyone's like, "Oh, it's so bad." So, So yeah, that will be it for this time. Obviously, if you're a fan of my channel, then you've probably noticed that the month of October was pretty light on content. I took a break to actually work on stuff because I needed to actually get some stuff done without the constant need of getting a video out on Mondays and Fridays, because then that really slows me down, because then I basically just make like 1 or 2 videos a week, and then I can't work on other things that take longer to work on. So the month being a little more inactive allowed me to do some of that, and now I have a whole bunch of stuff ready to go, and there will be a actual video up about that tomorrow. So with that being said, this will be it for this game night. We will be back at some time in the future. Don't know what we'll play. If someone whose name rhymes with Milakar happens to get Uno, maybe we'd do that. Actually, hold on. No, I just remember that there are a whole bunch of games coming out next month that are multiplayer centric with PS Plus. So there are some good game nights heading your way.
What did we have? All I remember are the stupid VR titles that I can't even play.
I don't think they've announced them.
I thought they did.
No, they announced them because I put them in the chat. Hold on, let me go.
No, the VR games they have.
That's
okay. What I meant.
Okay, well, still, what are the?
Right.
So one in general, or?
So yeah, they're in general. So the first one that I think will be interesting for us is Knockout City, which is a dodgeball multiplayer game from EA. That's not one that I'm interested in paying money for, but you give it to me for free, yeah, heck yeah, I'll play it. Get
First Class Trouble, which was announced at that State of Play that no one cared about.
Yeah,
and apparently people were disappointed by.
So that's I don't know why people get their hopes up for State of Plays, because State of Plays have never been good. It's the PlayStation showcases that are the big showstopper E3 type events that people need to get excited for. State of Play is always just, especially when they said the State of Play was going to be over the third party updates, and it's like, okay, I'm skipping this. I'll just read the rundown afterward. I didn't even watch it, so.
It was just about, let's see here, Five Nights at Freddy's. Finally got a release date.
It's not even worth mentioning.
Probably not even gonna.
It's none of these things.
Probably not even going to.
The PS Plus games are all that's worth mentioning. Anything else from that State of Play is not. It's not even worth talking about, which is why we didn't. So yeah, I feel like, considering it's free, we could probably get a good number of us together for the for Knockout City, which will be fun. Because I know it's team based, but I think we could also do private matches to where we could just hit each other in the face instead of random people online. So that'll give us a good competitive edge. And then of course First Class Trouble is also coming out, which is a day and date PS Plus release as well.
Yep.
Because it's been in early access on PC. I know that for a fact because I've seen gameplay from it before and people playing it. But it's been, well, maybe it's not early access on Steam, but it's definitely been on Steam, and now it's getting its PlayStation release. So for those unaware, First Class Trouble is basically third person Among Us. So
sus, imposter.
So that'll probably be interesting because I think we probably will disable the party for that and probably do some games with general randos if we can't get too many of us together. If we can get like 4 or 5 of us together, then I guess we can do a private match in there. But even then, I think we probably want to disable the party so that way we can use proximity chat because that's a little more fun, I think. So those will be some good game nights, and then depending on how Battlefield turns out, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe after a week or so on the market, Loka may be convinced to buy it just for Portal. Who knows? We will have to see how that goes. So we will maybe potentially have a check-in with Battlefield. That is definitely going to be a video for me in the month of November. Is a review over the game, which is another one of the reasons why I want to get it, because it's because potentially I could get 2 videos out of that. I could get the review, and then a year later I can get I can do a re-review. So
I will say, I'm not saying I'm gonna 100% get the game, but as we've been discussing, I've kind of been thinking and doing some rethinking and such, so who knows? That's all I'll say.
Yeah, well,
what I hate is that I'm going to I'm still going to buy Battlefield probably on release day, and I hate that about me. I bought Nintendo Switch Online's expansion pack the day it came out.
Oh no.
Ah.
I will tell you, laggy Mario Kart is glorious. It is an experience I wish you all could try out.
I really, really appreciate Nintendo because it is not easy to one-up the PlayStation Network in terms of being a bad, broken service. But man, oh man, did Nintendo do a great job with the Switch Online stuff? Because I mean, man, we thought it was bad that we couldn't change our PSN names for over 10 years. I mean, you could hardly play an online match on
okay, that's
Switch
not
Online.
True.
So
the issue is that it's all peer-to-peer. There isn't a server for that. They still don't know what a server is, I guarantee you.
Well, Sony knows what servers are. They're just all locked in the same closet from 2006 with a bunch of random wires hanging out of it together with duct tape. So, hey, the PlayStation's ahead of them in that sense.
Yeah. So. Yeah, no, it's just an issue with peer-to-peer, and the emulator, emulator, I don't know why I said it like that, it's really weird. They stopped using one of their better ones and went with the new one they're trying to make, and it's crashing only because people are doing speedrun glitches and tricks. That's why people are so up in arms. I don't think it's anything to complain about that loudly.
Well, hey, at least people are playing ARMS. That series could have just died.
Yeah, there's 2 people playing ARMS. There's
so
2
anyway,
people, and I'm not even one of them.
That will be one for each arm. So yeah, that will be it for this game night. We will see you soon for another one. And until then, I've been Princess Hopes Teen, once again joined by Coca-Cola.
Well, this sure was spooky.
And of course,
I couldn't think of anything else.
Yeah.
I think the real horror were the friends that we made along the way.
Yes. So.
And the chicken dinners.
And the chicken dinners.
And the chicken dinners in our
shocking
Rocket Soccer game.
Either that or the shocking the shocking lack of amount of. You catch my drift?
No, it's actually kind of hard to drift in this game if you have the camera controls selected a certain way. So. Well, anyway, that will be it for this stream, and we will see you next time. So thank you for watching, and goodbye.